All right, well, welcome to this week's Top Ask Us Anything. As usual, it's been a pretty busy news week. I think the first item we've got is that Tesla released their their quarter two figures, and they're actually record numbers, unsurprisingly. So they basically delivered a total of 201,250 cars in Q2. Obviously, about 300 plus of those were in Perth, and they've produced about 206,421. And obviously, some of those cars that were produced but not delivered are the ones that are actually coming to Perth over the next couple of weeks. So that's a pretty awesome result by Tesla. Like I said, it's basically a quarterly record, and they've produced more cars in this quarter, twice as many in this quarter as they've done back in about 2018, I think, roughly, or 2017. So it's an outstanding, that for the whole year, sorry. So that's an outstanding result for Tesla. The next piece we've got is, Elon Musk has basically confirmed that the Cybertruck is to feature four-wheel steering. What he basically tweeted out was that Friday afternoons are usually Tesla design studio time. Cybertruck will be almost exactly what was shown. We're adding rear wheel steering so it can do tight turns and maneuver with high agility. So that's sort of an interesting development with the Cybertruck, because obviously as it was released, it only had two-wheel steering. So now it looks like they're working out how to put four-wheel steering in. Now, that's going to be very interesting because obviously there's a tri-motor version of the Cybertruck. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see if they can actually jam steering and two motors in the rear drive or the rear wheels. Now, if they can, that might have a follow-on effect on something like perhaps the Roadster, because then you could say, well, the Roadster could have four-wheel drive, as in four motors rather than the tri-motors. Because if they've worked out how to do rear steering on the Cybertruck, you might as well put dual motors on the front of the Roadster. So that's going to be very interesting. And, you know, perhaps they might even do two drive units on the front of the Cybertruck to make it even more powerful. So then it can do things like the Rivian, I think it is, that can actually do, you can actually sit on its top by reversing all the motors. So that's sort of an interesting development from Elon Musk there.
Harold, they were saying that apparently if you're in a tight spot, the rear wheels are going to go in the opposite direction of the front wheels and therefore allow you to make a tight turn. But when you're at high speeds, they're going to turn in the same direction to keep you more stable on the road.
Yes, so when you change lanes, you sort of crab across. So you're still pointing in the same direction, but you're literally crabbing across, which I think Hummer demonstrated that on some off-road sort of footage. I don't know whether that was simulated footage or real footage. I think it might have been simulated.
They call it crab walk.
The crab walk, yes, exactly. And I think one of the Honda Accords had a mechanical four-wheel steering mechanism. And I think at certain speeds it also crabbed, but at slow speeds it went in opposite directions for a tighter turning circle. So that's certainly interesting. Now, closer to home, our next story is that of an Australian Model S that's done 400,000 kilometres on its original brake pads and battery pack for that matter. So that was sort of interesting, and Elon Musk himself actually commented in response to someone who posted up the article that was done by Bridie Schmidt at The Driven. So that's sort of good to see. 400,000, which I don't think Rob's here at the moment, but he's certainly done a few more Ks than Rob, who I think is WA's longest or furthest EV. Yeah. I'm not quite sure. Maybe Joseph actually cumulatively might have done more kilometres than Rob in his various EVs. But anyway, this gentleman over east has basically done 400,000 Ks, original brake pads. And as Elon Musk says, you know, using the regen means you don't really need to use the brakes at all, which is sort of stating the obvious. But, you know, you can see 400,000 kilometers later that there are original pads. And there's not a single ICE car that can basically say that. So that just goes to show, you know, it demonstrates the reliability of these cars. Now, the last one also is an Australian story, and that is that Tesla has reduced the range of the Model 3, of the 3 versions of the Model 3s, which is sort of interesting. But what they've actually done is now they're stating the range in WLTP, which is a much more accurate measurement than NEDC, which colloquially stands for not even damn close. So for instance, the SR Plus now goes to 448 kilometers, whereas I think before it was stating or claiming a bit over 500 kilometers. And the long range has sort of come down to a more reasonable 580, whereas I think it was 600 and 650, something like that.
657.
Sorry?
657.
657. Yes, thanks.
The other Nigel.
The other Nigel. Sorry, I couldn't see you on the split screen. So yeah, so that's sort of interesting that Tesla has finally adopted what Europe has done for several years now, and actually admitted that their cars should be presented in their more realistic range, which helps newer owners be less disappointed, potentially, or surprised at the real world range of cars.
WLTP is still a gross overestimate.
It is a bit, especially on Australian roads with their chippy chip seal and high speeds. You know, 110 Ks is what we mostly do. Whereas, of course, in Europe and in the States, that's not what really happens in urban environments.
I wonder what the logic was to go into WLTP, because the logic to stating it in NEDC to begin with was because that's the standard in Australia. That's what everyone else quotes.
Yep.
So if you're changing to a different standard, why not go to EPA if it's for accuracy? I wonder what the logic was. Yeah.
That's a very good point, Pete, because the EPA is actually the most pessimistic, but in essence, the most realistic range figure of all 3 measures. One way you can actually do that is you go to the Canadian website, although it's not a complete analog because, for instance, our Model 3s are made in Shanghai, so the SR Plus has a different battery chemistry in Australia than it does in Canada. But if you basically go to the Canadian site in English, they actually quote kilometers, but use EPA. So for instance, the Center Range Plus I've got at 423, long range 568, and performance 507, which is slightly less than the Australian figures, which we just had, of 448, 580, and 567.
Yeah, it's about 10% difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over 10%.
And
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
10% down on that. But I got a question. When you buy one of those horrible ICE vehicles, it says does 6.2 litres per 100k. It never says we'll do 600 kilometres. And yet electric cars go, we'll do 600 kilometres rather than 120 watt hours per k or 12 kilowatts per 100k.
That's a really good point, Nigel. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that the very earliest EVs, such as the original Nissan Leaf, did 120 kilometres on a good day. So I guess in that time, you had to say what the maximum range was because it really mattered. Whereas I guess you could say these days it doesn't really matter for the modern EVs. And yeah, you're right. They should be spruiking, 148 watt hours per kilometre, just like ICE cars.
you actually look at the compliance sticker, you know, that red sticker on the windscreen,
Yes.
on new cars, it's got, you know, the Model 3, 188 watt hours per K, and range 620 kilometers. You go, well, hold on, it's got a 75 kilowatt battery. That does not come out to the right amount. And I asked Harold that when I last saw him and go, that does not follow. And he goes, that's what it is on the official figures.
I think you meant Harry, but that's okay. I'll take
Yeah, sorry, Harry. Yeah,
that.
not Harold. Oh, there's too many Nigels, too many Harrys and Harold, too many Petes.
Too many Nigels is barely enough, just quietly. Speaking of people, it's probably a good time to introduce some new faces, and I do definitely see some new faces. Jean, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to Ask Us Anything.
Yeah,
Please tell us
good.
about your
Thank you.
car.
I've got the Model 3.
Yep.
Nearly 2 years, actually. It's the first time I've come on.
Oh, that's cool. That's fantastic.
I
So
think it
2
was
years.
November 2019, October 2019. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, there's never a
Very.
time that's too late to join Ask Us Anything, that's for sure. But welcome. And I
So
think,
I've worked most of it out.
yeah, yes. Well, most of us have had to work it out the slow way. So the whole aim of Ask Us Anything is to iron out any questions at all, or you know, to basically try and give people all little tips and tricks on how to use their cars more effectively, which we'll get into a little bit later on. One of those is Synergy, so we'll get to that a bit later. Karen, I think you're new, so welcome.
Hi, how are you going, everybody?
We're really good. Now, it just so happens that you've given us a lot of questions already on the chat. So
Yeah, I'm multitasking this evening, so just in case I can't carry on talking, I thought I'd get in early. Hope you don't mind.
yeah, well, feel free to ask one of the questions yourselves, or I can read them out for you if you like.
Thanks. So I haven't picked mine up yet. I get mine in 3 weeks' time. So I've just got a few questions around, you know, what advice do you wish you'd been told just before you purchased yours or before you took delivery? I've also spent a good few hours trawling all the accessory sites to see all the wonderful things that you can buy as add-ons. So some really good recommendations about what I should get in that space and where to buy them from would be great. And also, you know, just trying to work through the numerous advice that I've got around charging and whether to go for a different type of charging or literally plug it into the wall in the socket in the garage. I've got a solar system that's utilizing a pilot through Synergy at the moment with a virtual community battery, which enables me to virtually store solar energy that I can then use to charge it after hours. So yeah, just looking for advice on those three things as a starting point.
Okay, well, since we got charging as the last part of the question, I'll answer that first. I did mention Synergy a moment ago. One of the first priorities to do, and everyone can do this, who has got a car an EV that they bought in their own name as opposed to a business name. So if it's in your own name, if you go to the Synergy website or just Google Synergy EV tariff, and in fact, that's actually easier than searching Synergy's site. Just Google Synergy EV tariff. And what that is you get a 30% discount for all electricity consumed between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. And that's for the entire house. So I think it's roughly about 20 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, the good thing about that is that tariff applies for those hours, but there's no sting in the tail. All of your other bill is exactly the same, but the cost is the same. So it's the flat 29 cents per kilowatt hour for the rest of the day. You just simply get the discount overnight. But once again, you can only do that if you actually have bought the car in your own name. Now, if your spouse has the Synergy account in his or her name, you just got to make sure that if you've bought it in one name and the actual account holder is in a different name, just make sure you get reciprocal rights, so you can actually nominate an additional person to act on behalf of that account holder. So then you can actually register with Synergy for the EV tariff. Now that applies for all tariffs, except if you've got something like the smart power tariff, where that's got a separate rate overnight in the first place. So that's not compatible. But just a straight ordinary domestic tariff, it's very compatible. The only asterisk there is that.
Harold, did you say? Sorry.
Yes,
Did
go
you say
Jen.
11 p.m.? Did you say 11 p.m. to 4? Was
To
that 4 a.m.? Yeah.
4 a.m.
Well, I didn't know that, so that's great. We've learned something.
Well, and the great thing is that it doesn't matter if you're not charging your car then. If you've got, say, air conditioning running on a hot summer's night, well, then you're getting that air conditioning for that cheaper price because they don't meter the car separately. It's just, it applies to the entire house. So what was the other thing?
Yeah, I just signed up today for it, Harold, and there is a slight sting. It's $95 to get your meter converted.
Oh, sorry.
I already had solar, but apparently it's another 95 to convert. So I had to do a quick maths on saving 8 cents per unit and $95, and it's about 1,200 you got to use before you actually see any money back.
Yes, in fact, that's the point I was just going to make, was the sting in the tail is that there is a reprogramming fee if you've got a smart meter, because what they have to actually do is attend site to reprogram it to collect that extra tariff information. Or if you've got a non-smart meter, has anyone else done it where is there a slightly higher fee, or is it just a flat, was $135 to change the meter? I think.
No, same fee.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. So if you don't have solar or you don't have a smart meter, then it's simply just the $95
Yeah.
to change the meter or reprogram it.
However, you get a $200 credit on your account once a year, and I think it's 60 kilometres of free charge a month.
Yeah, you get the 60 kilometres per month, which amounts to, I think it's about $20.
Mm.
Oh, cool.
So, you know, that 95, after a few months, you've actually made it back in the bonus that they give you.
Yep.
I don't know if they're still doing the $200 rebate now, but you still got your $60 per month free. That's in there. So 5 months, that's paid for it.
Fantastic.
Didn't know that. Thanks.
Cool.
And
So
that's-
that's just made it a lot sweeter there for you, Barry.
Yeah.
So that's actually one of the things I must admit we've been guilty on Ask Us Anything, not remembering to tell people of that Synergy EV tariff. It's probably one of the least known things that you can get for almost nothing. And like I said, your whole house can benefit. Now, as far as charging adapters or charging infrastructure, the good thing is, Karen, that you don't need to feel compelled to do anything immediately. You've actually got time. So when you first get your car, it'll be charged up between anywhere as low as 30% to, if you're fortunate, perhaps 90% on a good day. But what you can basically do is in the boot, you've got a what's called a universal mobile connector, a UMC, and it's in a little square case, and it has a 10 amp and a 15 amp plug. So obviously most houses just have the 10 amp sockets. So you can plug that into any outlet in your garage or wherever, and that will charge your car at about 120 kilometers overnight. Does about 12 kilometers per hour. So you don't need to feel rushed to make any early decisions on charging. There are lots of options. Tesla themselves sell what they call a high power wall connector, which is the same as you'll see at the Tesla showroom on the walls near the service center. And that costs $780. That can work on either single phase or 3-phase, depending on what power you've got to your house. So, and that will charge your car at between 50 and 75 kilometers per hour, which obviously means you could fill up your car in just a few hours if you wanted to. And then there are also other commercial
Right.
options. And another possibility, depending on your circumstance, I mean, there are some people that are renting, so their landlords are reluctant to, to make major changes to the house, or you may be reluctant to fit a high power wall connector and leave it there. Another alternative you can do is have a 3-phase socket fitted to the house, and then you can plug in a 3-phase charger. And for instance, Tokwa, as the club, we actually offer members a portable 3-phase charger for $750. One advantage of that is that you can use it at home. You can just plug it in and mount it on the wall on a bracket. But if you want to go on a road trip, say up north or into the Midwest, you can then unplug it from your house, take it with you, and then plug it into a 32 amp 3-phase outlet that you'll see at various roadhouses and other places in the country. So that's another alternative. Another thing you can do is, I think there are various websites such as Alibaba that sell a 32 amp single phase adapter for your UMC. Obviously, this is all going to be a big blur. Like, don't worry about the details. We can sort of fill you in later or just repeat it later. But you can also buy another adapter that plugs into the unit that's in your car, in the boot of your car, which will give you about 50 kilometers of range per hour. And again, that's a 3-phase unit, or it plugs into a 3-phase outlet. So you could do that. And that only costs, I think it's about $150, $60 approximately. Might even be cheaper on some websites. So that's basically charging. Other Model 3 people, you've recently bought accessories. Pete, Nigel, others, other two Nigels. Do you want to describe any toys that you've bought, little pockets or?
I haven't bought very many for the last year, but I've got the mats, the boot mat, and a few fancy little stickers and some carbon blackout for the door handles and what have you on the outside to make it more look like a Chinese, made in China one.
The two things that I usually recommend to people is the screen protector. You don't want to accidentally, scratch it with your keys or something like that, as that could be quite expensive. And some of them can help with getting some of the glare off the screen in certain situations as well. And the other one is for Sentry Mode, your USB, so the new made in China Model 3s, they have the it's a USB-A, sorry, in the glove box for Sentry Mode. That, I think it's fairly low capacity. I think it's 64 gig from memory, which, you'll fill up fairly quickly over a few weeks. So I got myself, sorry?
Less than that.
Yeah, well, depending on, whether you have it on at home or what have you. So I have a 256 gig one because that one was the best value, but you can get a 510 gig and you can even get a 1 terabyte one, which is 1,000 gig. And I just got a micro SDXC card and a little adapter. There's two benefits to that. One is you got to make sure you try and get the more expensive one, which is the high
endurance.
High endurance. That's it. Yeah, thanks, Nigel. The high endurance one, because, or at least one good giveaway is if the packaging has got a dash cam or a video camera on it, it tells you that it's been designed to be written and overwritten numerous times, so it's less likely to get corrupted and fail. And the other advantage is it doesn't stick out so much, so you're less likely to accidentally knock it and break that USB because it is in the glove box now. It's in a dark spot, and it's in a high traffic area where you're putting stuff into the glove box and taking it out. So and it does stick out quite a lot. It's quite a long USB stick, probably an inch long. So, whereas the
I think it's up mounted up near the top somewhere. So I've got a made in China Model 3, and it came with a 128 gig stick in it.
oh, okay,
I actually don't use the Glovebox very much at all. I tend to use the center console more. So for me, it seems fine. It seems to fill up maybe every month with Sentry mode recordings. And when that happens, I just do a once around the car and see if there's any damage that I haven't seen before. And then I reformat it, which takes like all of 2 seconds. So yeah, for me, probably I got the all-weather floor mats and boot mats, which I think they seem really good. So then I don't mind getting into the car with muddy feet. And I also got one of those little sliding trays for the front console, because the consoles are pretty deep. And I find if I put stuff in there, like I use bifocals for driving, and if I put them in, they just used to get lost down the bottom somewhere. So with this little tray, it's sort of convenient.
with the floor mats, I initially got the original Tesla ones, but I've changed them out to a third-party one because I found the Tesla ones, they didn't cover, especially in the rear. But Tesla do sell 2 types. They sell an all-weather floor mat and I forget what the other standard one is called. But I had the standard one to begin with, which didn't cover all the space, especially in their rear, but they were quite heavy. So these new ones are quite light and they do cover, most of the area fairly well.
I also bought the shades for the glass, and they're very good. Is there any way you can buy seat covers?
Yes. Who wants to answer that question? Me? Okay.
That was Carmen. Yeah, go, Alex.
Yeah, I bought some seat covers off Tessery. So I just bought some off there, and yeah, they seem to be fine. A little bit tricky to fit, but you'll manage because they've got a nice little video that basically tells you how to fit them and things like that. So that's really handy to have.
Which one's
what web page was that, Alex?
That's Tessery's.
Did you get the leather ones?
How do you spell that?
T-S-O-R-I-E-S.
Double S.
Yeah.
So say again, T?
T-E-S-S.
Yep.
O-R-I-E-S.
Oh, okay,
Just like
yes. .com?
.com.au.
It's
an Australian. Yeah.
Cool. So that's this website.
Yeah, the link for that one.
And
So you go to Model 3 that's it. The interior.
And where are the seat covers?
There they go.
You've got different pages. Look at the bottom.
Yeah,
One,
down the
two,
bottom.
Yeah,
keep going, Harold. Keep going.
Oh, wow. Sorry. Yes. They've got, there we go.
There they are. Yeah.
No, that's a seat back protector. Seat
And there you go.
covers, full set.
There you go.
$369 to $399.
So these are the ones that you got, Alex?
They're the ones I got, but I got them in the black.
Ah, okay. What do you think about them? How do they fit?
The front ones seem to be fine. It's just a bit of a hassle at the back. You've got to remove the seat, the back bench seat, I suppose, and then just have a bit of fiddling around. But yeah, they fit fine.
So I was thinking about, because I wanted to get I sort of regretted not getting the white seats. And so I was thinking about getting the white ones.
Oh, that's a very good idea there, Pete, because you can sort of try before you buy your next car.
Yeah.
Just to see how dirty they really do get and how hard they are to clean.
But it's different. I mean, I'm not sure if those are real leather, Alex, or not, but obviously the Tesla's got the bigger leather. It's synthetic leather as well, is it? Okay. Yeah. It's good.
Thanks.
No problems at all.
Does anyone have any information on tow bars that would fit a Model 3 that could be used for carrying bicycles?
There's basically two brands. I'm not sure if Richard Cooper's in today, but there's essentially two brands. There's the Eco Hitch, and then there's the is it the Stealth one? Yeah. So they're both. You can get both of them from the US. There is a company in Perth now that installs them. Alternatively, you can do it yourself. So a few people have done it themselves, but there are. I don't know how valid these rumours are, and rumours is the key word here. That Tesla is going to bring out a factory set themselves in Perth. So we heard on last week's Ask Us Anything about the Hong Kong right-hand drive Model Ys. So if the Model Ys come to Perth soon, you would think that the tow bar would come with it, in which case, hopefully they'll be able to do a retro fit one. And if they're doing it for the Model Y, no reason why they wouldn't do it for the Model 3, you would have thought.
Do we know what date the Model Ys are likely to arrive in Perth?
Well, we can't even book them as yet. So, but yeah, in the Hong Kong, they've been able to register for a Model Y as of last week, roughly.
Yeah, so the Model Y, it still says stay updated, and there are various of us in the room that incessantly check Tesla's website many times a day to see if that changes. But
surprised it hasn't crashed yet.
Yes, they'll probably think it's a distributed denial of service where everyone's hitting Model Y. In Hong Kong, though, they are actually available. And what's that didn't? Oh yes, order now. And they're saying delivery in September. Estimated delivery. So as to when Model Y may come here, September's the end of the quarter. So perhaps it makes sense for some Shanghai Model Ys to go to Hong Kong then, but the Australian ones aren't likely to come until the next quarter, quarter 4, which means if they start manufacturing them in October, they would get to Australia in November. So the order page might open between now and the next couple of months for deliveries, say in November.
Harold, Nigel's trying to say
standard range, long range performance. You've got 3 models available for the Model Y in Hong Kong, which probably makes sense because Hong Kong only covers about 38 square miles or whatever it is. So you don't have very far to go.
Well, actually, very good point, Nigel. That's true too. But also in particular, I think it's because Shanghai have got the LFP batteries, the lithium iron phosphate batteries out of Shanghai, which the US cars, the Fremont built cars don't have. So Model Y in the States is not available in standard range. It was touted, I don't know if it was ever available or it might have been briefly available and is no longer available. But yeah, you're dead right. In Australia, there's no doubt we're going to have the standard range, long range, and performance versions. And there's your WLTP distances as well. So that's interesting because that's actually claiming more than the Model 3, which is sort of a bit weird, but be that as it may. So yeah, as far as when, we don't know, but it probably makes sense that hopefully they'll deliver them into Australia by about November. But who knows? I know Ken and I certainly incessantly look every day, several times a day.
Well, Ken's got RSI, hasn't he?
We've all got bets on whether it will be Ken or Harold gets the first order in.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, be sure that whoever tweets it out, we would have already ordered it first and then tweeted it.
You will be tweeting the hedgehog.
Yes.
Harold, I've got a couple of questions.
Yes.
I've had the Model 3 now for 2 or 3 weeks, and my month's free Wi-Fi, connection, Tesla finishes, and I was wondering about using my phone data for the Tesla.
Actually, Joe,
Just wondering how to
who
do
is
that.
lurking, is an expert at this because she judiciously buys the monthly premium data casually, and also uses, I think, Joe, do you use your phone to tether to your car? Joe might be busy.
Joe is busy. That's okay. Yeah, no, we use the Wi-Fi at home when it's sat in the garage. The kids watch stuff on it then. We do occasionally tether the phone to the car, but it doesn't work all the time. But yeah, what he was saying was, yeah, we activate premium just when we're going on holiday, and then we deactivate it when we come back. But you can use it as and when you like, really. You can try with the tethering the phone. It does work. Obviously, it uses a lot of your phone data.
Any idea how much?
Well, it depends what you're
I don't
watching.
use. Yeah, well, I was going to say I won't be streaming movies or anything like that in there. I don't want to sit. I've got a beautiful movie room at home. I'm not going to sit in the car and do it. But I was thinking more for over-the-air updates and things like that. I guess they don't happen very often.
Use your Wi-Fi at home for that. As long as you park near your house, then your car will always be connected to your Wi-Fi when you're at home. So that's how you get the updates. It's only really when you're away from home on holiday that you need to tether your phone to do an update, which some of us have done before. It does use a lot of data for that, though.
Yeah, look, you've got Wi-Fi at home. You've got to have programmed in the car to your home Wi-Fi and giving it the password. Then it will automatically connect when you drive into your garage, if it can receive the Wi-Fi there. I've tethered my phone to download an update because I've had that little update symbol when I was in Geraldton. So I tethered my phone and it downloaded it. But I've got about 63 gigabytes of data on my plans in total. So I've got no worries. I can sit and watch Netflix or whatever when I'm out waiting. By tethering my phone. But the problem is, if you want to tether it so that you get all the map updates and pretty pictures and the satellite view or whatever it is, it won't work. And you've got to tether it every time you get into the car. You've got to start the car and then go in and go, right, tether to my phone, blah, blah, blah. And then you can drive off. So it's a bit of a hassle.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know how it worked. Okay.
But
I did look.
Just pay $9.99 for a month if you're going away for a few weeks, and you'll have all the benefits, and then cancel it when you get back.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Does anyone know which network the Tesla uses?
Telstra.
Because I was thinking out in the countryside, if you get into trouble, at least you have some connectivity. Whereas my mobile phone is with one of the lesser known providers that doesn't work outside the metro area, really.
Mine connects automatically when I'm at home. It's no problem.
But you
how do you actually set it up to do that? I mean, a couple of times it's come up, but I've ignored it because I haven't.
Angela, when you get into your garage, you go top left. There's the like a Wi-Fi signal or something. There's the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi thing. You touch on come down, and then it will pick up any Wi-Fi's that are available. So you select yours, then it will want a password. You give it the password. Harold's going to his brilliant little thing there, and once you've done that, it will always connect.
Yeah, so what you do is you go to the LTE symbol, press on that.
Yeah.
And actually what it will do is it will search for Wi-Fi, and it will actually show your house's Wi-Fi on this list.
Yeah.
And then you can basically add it by putting in the password. And that will then remember your house, and every time it is parked at your house and it's in earshot of your Wi-Fi, it'll just connect automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harold just showed
I can live in hope.
you click on your Wi-Fi. You don't have to go to add Wi-Fi. You just click on it, and then it'll say wants password. And
Oh,
you
sorry.
go-
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So that thing that I've done, we did this in a car park actually at Curtin Uni. So that's dead right. You imagine that. Whoops. That say the Curtin guest. You just click on that, and it will simply ask for a password.
And that will
Yeah.
be Angela's home or whatever.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's just, unfortunately, we're on satellite and I'm not so sure the signal's strong enough to the carport. But anyway, I'll check all that out. Yeah, thank you.
Just one thing, I've had issues with, and it's a known problem. If you've got a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi and a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, you end up with problems because the receiver on the car is only 2.4.
Right, that's interesting. So, but then it should only show up as the 2.4.
I've got the Netgear router, and also I have a Google Wi-Fi, and both, when I researched it, both of them came up as potential issues, and the workaround was to actually set up the Netgear with guests and only advertise the 2.4, don't advertise the 5 gig, and you'll be fine. But occasionally the Netgear drops off, so I have to do a reboot for the car to pick it up.
You could also
Okay, all right, thanks for that.
you could also configure your Wi-Fi access point to have a different network name for the 5G signal, and then you could just tell your Tesla to connect to the network that has only 2.4.
That's what I do, and I don't seem to have any problems with it.
Yeah, that's how I have mine set up like that as well.
Yeah, I think Nigel's is set up as it's the same name, and it just either goes, well, it broadcasts on both spectrums, which might be the issue.
Yeah, and you only do that if you want to go beyond 150 megabits, so you can get up to gigabit speeds on Wi-Fi if you actually combine both.
Yeah, I've got a mesh system. It goes 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. My car just logs into whatever it can do, and it's fine. I've had no troubles. I haven't had to rename anything.
Interesting. One other thing, do we know when the Cybertruck's going to be here?
Too long.
Too long.
It's going to take too long. Look, put 3 years in the back of your head, and hopefully it'll be a bit less. But it's at the moment it looks like there won't be any Cybertrucks produced by the end of this year. It'll be more likely to be Model Ys at Giga Texas, but they'll probably start producing them early next year. It'll be at least 2 years from when they start producing them that we'll get them.
Excuse me, Harold. Rob's already got a Cybertruck. Look, he's got his Cybertruck.
Oh, he has too. Look, it's filling the whole screen.
Very jealous. I'll pay you double, Rob, for whatever you paid for it.
My wife's been
Peter,
staring.
I bought one for you. Hey!
How many Peters in the room? But yeah, Angela, unfortunately, it's going to take quite a while because there are so many reservations in the States. It just makes sense for them to focus on the left-hand drive market. By way of comparison, last year, the Model S and X went into refresh mode. The factory closed in December, and the new Model S and X was supposed to come out in February. And they've only just come out last month, or the Model S. The Model S is not, or X is not due into Australia until the end of next year, even though they're being now delivered into the States. Sorry, the Model S is. So it's going to be at least 2 years after they start deliveries in the States. And that's basically 2 years from the start of next year.
It's not for me, but my partner was hanging out for a four-wheel drive electric vehicle, but it's not going to be really something suitable. I don't think. The Rivian's looking very interesting, but again, that's who knows when we're going to get that.
I think that'll be later.
Yeah.
Still, because there's no sign of Rivian doing a right-hand drive version at all at the moment. Whereas at least
Yeah.
Tesla, unlike the Model Y, you can actually reserve a Cybertruck now. And one advantage of doing that is it locks in your full self-driving price at $10,100. So that won't ever go up.
No,
Which
I don't think it's an issue. Self-driving.
And the great thing is it only costs $150 to reserve it, but even that $150 is fully refundable if you change your mind. So you
But do
really,
you know what the full price is going to be, though?
yeah, it's
yes, we do.
depending on which one you're looking at.
The dearest version, there is now a little bit of debate as to whether there might be luxury car tax. I actually had read a website which said that because by definition of commercial vehicle, there is no luxury car tax. But I looked a bit deeper and it seems to imply now that the vehicle needs to carry 2 tons of payload. And I'm just not sure the Cybertruck can do that. I know it can do 1.5 tons in the tray, but you know, the final spec isn't quite worked out. If it can carry 2 tons of payload, then it will be luxury car tax exempt. And if that's the case, the dearest version, the tri-motor long range that does 800 kilometers of range and 1 charge will cost no more than $135,000 delivered into Western Australia. That's the very dearest version that can do 0 to 100 in 2.9 seconds and carry 7 tons. Sorry, tow 7 tons. But if it's luxury car tax, it'll be 150.
Sure.
And then the cheapest version will be similar to a standard range plus, I think it is, Model 3.
Really?
Because in America, it's about $40,000 US, and the Model 3 in the States is about 35 or 6.
39.
Oh, is it 39? Well, there you go. So it's almost the same as an SR Plus.
Whoa.
So
Okay.
When they release the Cybertruck, it ain't going to be 40,000. It'll be 40,000 Elon dollars. It's like next week Elon time.
40,000 US dollars plus a few Dogecoins.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Harold,
Yes.
have we finished talking about accessories and options?
No, we can keep talking, or I can talk about anything you like.
I'd suggest also for charging a Type 2 to Type 2 cable could be very advantageous for some commercial providers like IKEA and others.
IKEA?
Oh, in Canberra, sorry.
Yes. Right. Yeah, of course, Steve, because the IKEA in Osborne Park doesn't have any EV charging, which is actually pretty rare for well, that's one of the outlying IKEAs, because everywhere else in the world, the IKEAs do have charging. But yeah, that's a very good suggestion, that a Type 2 cable. Oh, sorry. Rolling right back to the start, what you need to do, anyone that has got a new car, is to install an app called PlugShare on your phone. Because what PlugShare will do is actually tell you where all the charging locations are. So I'll just bring that up. It also works as just a website, so it's just plugshare.com. And this dovetails into the Type 2 cable. There. Now, when you first get your car, you will be able to supercharge, use Tesla and CCS. So these are all the charging locations that your car can use out of the box, so to speak. And there's actually quite a few more that will appear eventually. So what Steve was talking about was a Type 2 connector. So if I turn Type 2 on, there are actually quite a few more locations. So some, depending on where you live, there are, for instance, free ones at Scarborough Beach and Floreat Beach. Near Subiaco Way, there's the home base at the Bunnings, or next to Bunnings. There's a Woolworths underground car park that's got a couple of free Type 2 chargers, and also at the Fremantle Cappuccino strip car park. Now they need what's called a Type 2 lead, because most of the Type 2 chargers are untethered, which means they don't have a fitted lead. Whereas if you get into your car and you'll see the map here. We'll just get out of this screen. Okay, if you press the little lightning bolt, which is on the lower left-hand corner of your screen, it'll actually show your nearby charging locations. But these are only Tesla charging locations. So it'll show the Eaton Supercharger in red. And this number there, that number 6, means there are actually 6 stalls available. And then it will also show your local or your nearby, what are called Tesla destination chargers. So because this car was actually parked at Curtin Uni, it's showing the Riverton Stockland Shopping Centre, Hyatt Regency, and a few others. But they are the only charging locations that the car knows about. What you then need is PlugShare to actually show you the rest. And that's why you need to get PlugShare on your phone. And that will then show all of the other locations around Perth and around Australia, for that matter, where you can charge your car. But as Steve said, the Type 2 cable, that's probably one of the charging accessories that is the most useful. You should only really buy one if you've got a use case. So if you live nearby a free charging location and you can opportunistically charge there, then it is useful. Otherwise, the $265 it costs, if you're not going to use it, then it is by definition a waste of money. On the other hand, if you only want to use one for road trips, you can borrow it for free from the club. So we have quite a few Type 2 cables that are available for free loan for road trips. Oh, and by the way, the $265 is the price for members, but for non-members, the normal price is $300 for a Type 2 cable. So that's a good suggestion there, Steve.
And a membership only costs $20, so you'd be silly not to get a membership if you wanted a cable.
You sort of get 2.5 years off your membership just when you buy a Type 2 cable. But the other thing too was that other $750 charger I mentioned earlier. If you look at any other websites such as evse.com.au, they have the same charger for sale for $1,350. But through the club, it's $750. But again, you'd only buy it if you've got a compelling use case, such as you want to charge your car faster at home, and you want the advantage or the convenience of having a charger that you can take off your house and take it with you for road trips. But again, you can actually borrow these things for free from the club for a road trip, which has happened several times. And speaking of things you can borrow from the club, you can also borrow a spare tire from the club for free for road trips. And we actually have 2. We've got a Model 3 Aero wheel, and also what's called a Modern Spares self-contained spare tire and jack kit that's compatible with the SR Plus long range and performance Model 3s. So that's another thing, that's another benefit of being a member of the club, is you can borrow all these adapters and various accoutrements for road trips. And speaking of spare tires. That is one issue that, particularly if you're in the country or you want to have that assurance of getting a spare tire, there are a couple of options. You can go to Tesla and buy a rim and a tire from them. And I think, Jared, you bought a rim. Do you know how much that was?
No, I didn't actually buy the rim, but I had a rim
exchange.
replaced.
Yes.
Yeah, it was $280 to swap over the rim that was rubbed, that was scratched.
So do you know, I don't know if Tesla actually have rims on their website. That's one.
Never seen them on their website. I've seen them on some website. They were like $2,000 for a performance rim.
I think they might have some wheels on the US website, if I'm correct.
But they had them in stock at Osborne Park and just drove in there and they changed it over, swapped it completely out. So.
Yeah, we might have to go and ask them, because it is possible that they may actually be selling brand new rims and we just don't know about it. Or should I say it's not on the website. Now, speaking of the website, there is actually a shop site on Tesla's website. So if you go to shop, oh, sorry, you got to make sure it's the Australian website. So you go
I
to
also
shop.
believe that Richard Cooper is setting up a new shop. Mods Are Us by Richard Cooper.
Cooper Tesla.
You need to stop
Cooper
there.
Tesla. Hey?
I'm not selling them. I'm just fitting them all to my car, mate.
And everyone's watching you to make sure it's right.
Oh, everything's wonderful, mate.
Actually, Richard, I've got to hit you up. I ended up ordering your swivel.
Oh yeah.
Swiveler. But yeah, it's been flat out. I've had it here for over a week, but just haven't had time to do anything. But yeah, one day when I finally get some time, I might send
give me
you
a
a
hug.
text. Yeah, if you're
No problems. Easy.
awesome.
Hey, nice to chat with you guys. I have to go now, so I'll catch you all another time.
No worries,
See you,
Peter.
Peter.
Thanks for coming, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah, see ya.
Yeah, I'm going to get going too, guys. Good to see you. Thanks for the help.
No worries,
See you
Angela.
next time.
Total pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah, Angela.
Bye.
So, Richard, have you had any other accessories you've fitted lately or done? The last one was the swivel screen.
Oh yeah, I fitted a foot sensor for my front.
Please explain.
Yes.
Well, when I go out in the garage, if I want to get into the front, I've got to use my app, you see. If the car's unlocked, which always is under the garage, now I just go up and swipe my foot underneath it and the front opens for me. My powered front. It's great. It was cheap. It was great. So I pulled out the gubbins and did it. It's brilliant. Very simple.
Have you got the same thing for the boot?
No, because you've got the thing on the boot is you've got your switch. You can use your hand, you see. The front, you don't.
Yes, but what if you've got what if your arms are full of stuff to put into your boot?
Oh, I do. I always put my shopping in the front. I never use the boot because
You-
stuff
you
rattles
rest-
around.
You rest it
not
on
a
the
lot of
boot,
shopping,
you
is it?
open it, and then you take it off the boot and you put it inside.
I suppose you would, yeah. No, I never use the boot. I use the front all the time.
Apparently,
Did
the
you
front
don't
is very
fit
good for
much?
takeaway. The
Yeah, 'cause
front
it
is
doesn't
very good
stick.
for putting in takeaway food because the smell
Doesn't
doesn't go through the
Doesn't
car.
stink the car out. That's right.
Yeah,
And the stuff
that's
doesn't
what I
roll
noticed.
around. In the front, it doesn't roll around. And the older ones have got bag hooks built into the new ones don't, but the old ones have got bag hooks. So you just click the bags on, a couple of bags of groceries. It's brilliant.
I've
Did you have to
checked with mine. So I had two options where to put the foot sensor. One was underneath the spoiler, but it stuck out quite a bit. So it protruded down below the bottom of the spoiler quite a bit. So I didn't want it there, thinking, if I just clear a curb or something, it might rip it off. So there was a little bit of gap, so I had it put in there. But I've had I've had it open a couple of times unintentionally. So, but then other times I put my foot under it 3 or 4 times and it wouldn't open. So,
Oh, mine's only been fitted a week and it's perfect. And mine's up totally. It's just up underneath. You can't see it at all and it works perfectly. So, yeah,
which is it? The
hand show.
Yeah, the hand show. Yeah, okay, that's the same one I've got. Yeah, yeah, right.
Works well. So,
And you did yours yourself again?
Yeah. It was easy, very easy. Yeah. That's just for Jared's knowledge. Yeah.
Nice.
And I've got some mud flaps coming, but I haven't fitted them yet.
I've looked at those too. Yeah.
They're good. They're good. Keeps the mud and everything away. So from the paintwork on the sides.
Yeah. So
yeah, I've
this
got mud flaps fitted. They didn't require any screwing. Just take out the couple of bolts and use the long ones that came with it.
Yeah,
very easily done.
My concern was that he would lower the range, but from all reports, it makes hardly any difference. So another advantage also is it makes the car, the wheels look a little bit wider from behind. So yeah, it's got a aesthetic benefit as well.
there you go. So and also I got a little note on my phone yesterday. Time to rotate your tyres. That was clever because I rotated mine. I don't know how it knew.
So is that from your app? Was it a
Yeah.
notification?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't know how it did it because I didn't tell my app that I rotated them, 15,000 k's ago. I don't know. It said something like it's 11,364 k's since you've rotated your tyres. Time to rotate them, or something like that. I was shocked.
Do you have a third-party Tesla app or anything?
Yeah, I've got a few, but that was on. That was
I don't know what I mean. It's like Tesla or whatever it is that.
Yeah, I've got Tesla. Yeah.
Oh, it might be one of those.
But how would it know?
Harold, maybe the Bluetooth tire pressure sensors. You move the tires around, maybe the sensors go too. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because we've got to recalibrate. Oh, very smart.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not fair because I've rotated my tyres and I haven't been told.
Well, maybe they're not due again.
They are.
I can't help it.
Richard, how have you done it?
I just rotated the tyres.
Are you sure? Are you sure this wasn't something you bought on the internet and installed on your car that you've
I
forgotten
can't be
about?
sure. I'm getting a bit old. I can't be sure.
No, he's got so many mods. He's just getting confused.
Hey, there's all these mods, but it's still quicker than your car, Pete.
not on takeoff.
I think somebody was asking about towing the other day, and Richard Cooper's name came up straight away.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
contact.
Someone was asking about earlier on today. Was asking about a tow bar. Are they still on?
Yeah.
I saw the ridiculous price, the $2,800 or something. Someone was quoting to get it done in Wangara. That's ridiculous.
Well, just to install it.
Oh, yeah, to get one fitted. They were going to make them and fit it. It was $2,800. It was on Tokwa a while ago or something, or one of the forums. One of the Facebook, one of the Facebook things. And I thought that's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Because what are they? They're about $1,000 or something, aren't they? In the US.
Right. They're about $475 plus postage US. Yeah.
Yeah, so about $1,000 by the time you get. Yeah.
About a third of what this one was quoted. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So what was your landed cost, Richard, of the?
That was a year ago. So I think it was about. Well, I looked at the price when I went a couple of days ago when this came up, and it was $473 US, and I think the postage is about $250. So do the maths. So it's about $1,000 Australian.
Yeah, so 630 plus what, 250? Was it 250 US or 250 Australian?
US, I think. Yeah, it'd be US. Yeah.
And who are you buying that through America, Richard? How are you doing that again?
It's Stealth Eco Hitch. What's the name of the company?
No, but you buy it through a certain way in the States, so they don't recognise that you're from Australia, so to speak.
No,
So you can buy stuff from the Tesla website in America?
no,
and
no, it's
you
not
get past
Tesla.
that?
No, it's aftermarket. It's not Tesla.
If,
No,
if,
but if
you
you wanted
want,
to buy something from Tesla,
Oh,
if you
could
want
just-
that, Jared, the site that I use is called My US.
Yeah, I do the same.
my US.
Yeah, and that seems
Yeah,
to work
talk to
pretty well. It's
Yeah.
not cheap, the shipping, but it works. So
It works.
yeah,
What's it called? My US.
myus.com, myus.com. Yeah.
Write that down.
They
And then I
ship
can
anything.
order straight off the website in US.
Yeah, so you create a address on the website.
Yep.
And then you put that
Yep.
address into the Tesla website to ship it to, and Tesla does free shipping for most items. But then once it's at the My US box, they unpack
Then they
it.
charge you.
They take photos of it so you can see what you're going to get, and then they and you can choose if you want to, wait until you've got a few more items and then package it all at once, or if you want to send it, one at a time or what have you.
Thanks for that, Pete.
That's all right.
That's great.
I have a question, if you don't mind. So you're talking about rotating tyres. After how many kilometres would you do that?
Tesla actually has a official recommendation on that in the manual.
It's about 15,000, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how. Oh, is it 15 or 10? Yeah, something like that.
10,000 miles.
And so what should you do? Like the back go to the front, or?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But you don't have to do that at Tesla, Gene, although they can do that for you because they do have tyre facilities now. But you can do that at, for instance, Tyre Power. Depending on whether you're in the northern or southern suburbs, Tyre Power Claremont used to do a lot of, or all of Tesla's
Yeah, they
work.
do.
So they certainly know that the main issue is that you go to a tyre place that looks after looks after the car and jacks it correctly, and also looks after the little the little lug caps, depending on
Plug
what sort
jacks
of car
too.
you have. If you've got a SR Plus, I presume the nuts don't have covers because you've got the aero covers, so that's not an issue. But yeah, most good tyre places can do the rotation for you.
And I've just checked; it's every 10,000 kilometres.
Oh my goodness. Well, we haven't done that.
In saying that, most people don't like those tyres with those sensors. Most tyre yards don't like those sensors that are built with the tyres.
Well, it doesn't matter
They
if you
get a bit funny about changing.
Yeah, but it won't matter because it learns itself. They're very short range transmitters in the sensors, so they automatically relocate themselves. So that you don't have to take the tires off. You just take the whole rim and move the back rim to the front and vice versa.
And the thing with tire rotation is it's only really needed if there's obvious sort of wear issues between the tires. So if you go to a decent tire place, they'll be able to look at them and even tell you if you need it or not. Obviously, they're going to try and sell you the tire rotation, but yeah. So it's 10,000s are recommended, but I did mine at 15. I think I'm about 35,000 now, and I haven't done the second one yet. So tires look fine.
I had a bit more wear on my rears than my fronts, but not.
I wonder why that is.
Well, mine's all-wheel drive.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes get the little thing that comes up and tells you what is it PSI of the tyres, and one's the left front's always a little bit low. I wonder what would cause.
You might have a slow leak.
Yeah.
The left-hand front tyre is the one that hits the curb.
Well, when I bought the car, the tyre pressure was 41 psi, and then when I changed over the rim with Tesla, it changed. They put it up to 46 psi.
Oh.
Didn't you say, Harold, it was 47 or something? Is good running.
Oh, well, yeah. Just speaking of the tyre thing, if you're not sure how to get that, normally you'll see a car like this. You just swipe to the right and that will give you the tyre pressures. This car happened to leave Tesla with 44 PSI. And then to get rid of that, you just sort of swipe back to the left.
Is that what's recommended? I think it's only about 41.
Yeah, I think 42 is recommended, isn't it?
It's 42. So
In the
Jared,
tire placard inside the door.
Tesla, the service guy at Tesla in Osmond Park punched it up to 46 psi when he changed the tire over, changed the rim over, and then left that tire at 46 and the other three tires at 41. So I just went and did 46 on all of them. So
it's 42 is the recommended. I run mine at 45 cold, which obviously gets up a bit higher than that when they're running. So you can run them happily at 45.
You can go up to about 50, I think, on those tyres. Is it 50 or 51, Harold?
Yeah, the max cold inflate is 50, and when you see that, it actually means cold. So when you're driving along on a hot day, I've seen my tyres get up to as high as 58 on a 46-degree day in the Northern Territory. But that's perfectly fine because the tyres are designed to do that. So don't feel bad if you can easily run your tyres at 45, 46, 47 PSI. It's perfectly safe. It's just simply a slightly harsher ride because the tyres are more pumped up. There's less flex in the tyre walls. But one advantage of having them slightly harder is that you'll get better efficiency.
And how long should the tyres last, do you reckon? Was that asking how long's a piece of string?
50,000 Ks?
It depends on your driving style. If you're like Richard, you won't get very much out of it.
My tyres are magnificent. I've done 30,000 Ks and they're not even half worn.
Mm. Yeah,
my Lotus, I'd get 20,000 and they'll be done. So
I've done 44,000 and they're still looking very good.
I think Rob, did you rotate yours at around 60 or 70?
I rotate mine at 25,000, but my second set I got 102,000 out of them.
Wow.
That's because I run the pressures absolutely on the spot, 45 cold.
Right.
You've got to keep your tyre pressures accurate all the time.
Yeah.
Rob drives very, very sedately. He's a very quiet driver.
And I think his suspension, by good fortune, is well set up. Some models, like the Model X with the air suspension, they basically chew the inside of the tyres out. And actually, anyone who has a Model S, the newer Model S's, should watch out for that as well, because you usually see the outside of your tyre tread because that's closest to the wheel arches or to the outside of the car. I don't think this pertains to Model 3s, so most of you don't have to worry. But if you've got an S or an X, have a look at the inside of the tyre, because on my car and on my wife's car, she has a Model S, the tread wear the wear in the tyres was down to the belts. And if you looked on the outside of the tyres, it looked perfectly okay. So that's to do with the camber of those cars. But I think the Model 3s don't suffer from that. Has anyone got many Ks on their Model 3s, Pete? Or
well, I've got 44,000 Ks, and my tyres are fine.
And they're even wear across the tyre?
Yes.
Oh, awesome! Fantastic.
I think Joseph changed his at about 60,000. We all know Joseph just drives everywhere. So
yeah, so he's done over 100,000 kilometers in his Model 3.
Mm. Hey Nigel, how many Ks have you got on your car?
I can tell you, I've just got a. Why does my phone not recognise my face? What is wrong with it?
Because you haven't got a mask on.
Your face? That's a very open question there, Nigel.
He said recognise, not like.
Okay. 42,821. I thought.
Oh, I'm more than you. I'm more than you. I'm on 44 because you said 44,000.
That's what I thought.
I'm right on 44,000. So I thought
well,
it'd be.
I'm going to go for a couple of long drives, I think.
One more thing with tyres, guys. There's two two choices you got with tyres. You either buy Michelin tyres or you think about it, then you buy Michelin tyres.
Okay.
So absolutely tell you, that's all I've used on is Michelin tyres. 3 different types of Michelin, they're all been great.
Actually, I changed out my first 2 tyres and got Continentals instead, and haven't had any problems with them as yet. But
when are you going back to Michelin?
How much are they paying you, Rob?
None. No, I'm really impressed. Really impressed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got over 100,000 K, I mean, that's, head down. That's unbelievable.
I second, Rob's call on the Michelins. I've got Continentals at the moment because it was all I could get. But Michelin are actually also bringing out a specific EV compound, which they reckon in their testing gets a better range of so many X% over their existing tyres. So it's not just picking another competitor out and saying, yeah, we're better than that. It's benchmark it against their own tyre. I think they seem to be the most progressive mob on the market for bringing new compounds to market specifically for EVs, and I think they're really going for it. So yeah, my next set of tyres on my 21-inch turbines are going to be that new compound of Michelin's, even if I have to import them from Europe or the States, via my US or whatever. So just my 2 cents worth.
I actually remember watching a YouTube video not long ago. I can't remember if it was Michelin, but it sounds like it may have been it. They were doing some testing with a Model 3, but they actually installed a supercharger at their own test track. Not sure if anyone saw that video, but yeah. It was one of those ones on a sled.
Is that not in Italy at?
There's one at the Nürburgring in Germany.
Yeah, no, there's also one at the. It's a racetrack that's a circle. I think it's literally circular or possibly oval shaped in Italy. And there was
a can track.
Say again, Rob?
Where they pour water on it as well?
Not sure.
So they can test the wet weather running of the trucks as well.
Possibly. It's definitely in Italy, and there is a supercharger sled there.
I thought this one was in the US though. I'm trying to, yeah. If I find it, I'll let you know.
I also, just get back to the PSI. I run my tyres at the max cold inflate pressure of 50, just like Harold, I believe you do as well.
Yep.
But yeah, because of that particular issue with my S has got air suspension. You've got air suspension on yours as well, Harold, obviously. So one thing that Claremont Tyre Power also offer, if you want it, is they can adjust the toe on the rear so that it gives you a slight bit of toe out, so that it ends up putting more of the load on the inside of the tyre. Because I was stupid enough to try and go for a camber adjuster kit, which was just a bit of a disaster. To be honest, there are better kits that I've seen come on the market now, but I've just been burned by a bad experience, so I'm just not even going to do it. So yeah. And I've bought a set of 19s, Aero 19s now for road trips. So, yeah, so I'll just chew it up.
Yes, yeah. It is a bit of a hassle, tyres, but thankfully it seems the Model 3s, it's all sorted. The suspension is pretty straight, so you're not going to have that. Because the worst thing that happens is you get one side of your tyre chew out when the other side is perfectly good.
I've had it the same, Harold. Yeah, right down to the threads, and I've got my baby in the back. It's like it's just.
Well, I actually went down the freeway.
Gets me.
If I went slowly, I could feel it sort of felt like a bit lumpy, like there was a lump, and that's because there was the actual.
I've heard of that
through the belt, and the tyre was starting to bulge. And a week earlier, I had towed that Tokwa's
the shark fin.
The shark fin 165 kilo fast DC charger on my tow.
Yeah. Well, I was hooning it around the RAC test track. Sorry, I was driving carefully and considerately around the around the RAC test track with lots of people in the car.
For that, Richard.
Yes, yeah, you can, can't you, Nigel? You certainly took a couple of those corners quicker than I would have done in my car. No, it's all good. No, yeah, I didn't know at that time that the tyres were not in a good condition, because it looks like they are and they're not. But yeah, it's just, if Tesla had just decided just to even put a fixed -1 camber, 1 degree camber on the rears, that would have been okay. But going -2 just means you just absolutely chew through those tires. The only saving grace is that Adam at Tesla said that the worst car for it is actually the BMW X5, so that made me feel slightly better.
I've actually owned
I
two.
take it everybody's
X5s and
happy.
got 80,000 Ks out of a set of tyres.
On what?
On my X5s.
Really? I don't know what
Yeah,
you
I
do with
never had.
tyres. You seem to be the tyre wizard. Not taking corners fast, I think, is
No,
probably...
I don't. Ask Rob. He believes that I don't drive fast.
You don't wear a hat, do you, Nigel, when you're driving? Oh, we're sharing the screen. Who's sharing?
I found it. It's me.
Ah,
That's it there. It's actually.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's actually Goodyear in Texas. They've got a 7,200 acre testing facility there, and they've got a Model 3 Performance, as you can see there. With it's just on some pellets, that supercharger.
Wow.
And that's running.
Hey, look, that's great. Like, if Goodyear and Michelin are going to go into a battle for who can come up with the best EV tyre compound, that's the winner for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, well, just the last thing on tyres, I always go for any tyre that's got the hardest tread wear index. So the standard tread wear index is 100. That's like a standard sort of tyre. It's a little bit like 100 octane in fuel. And the tyres I currently have, I think they're Yokohama's, but don't quote me, have a tread wear of 580, because I'm just trying to get the hardest compound to try and get the hardest wear. Obviously sacrificing a little bit of grip, but then I don't need, hugely great performance tires, because I don't race my car on racetracks. But hopefully, Richard, you're saying that with Michelin, with the new EV tires, I presume that's what they're doing with the compounds, is they're making them harder and balancing basically grip with efficiency.
Yeah, they're putting more silicon in.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
Because they seem to be suggesting they were getting as good or better grip, but still getting longer lasting tires. Yeah.
They might be taking
Sure,
advantage of the fact that the cars are heavier, so you've already got more effectively downforce sort of on the tire. But yeah, it's interesting. Has anyone got any other questions about any aspect of their car, using their car?
Actually, I do, Harold. Where
Go on,
can
Richard.
I get a set of Tesla roof racks for the Model S?
You can. Tesla makes them.
Can never order them. They're never available on the.
There was Rob. Do you remember there was a gentleman at one of the drive-ins, and he had roof racks on his white Model 3.
Oh, I mean, Ken's got.
Ken Taylor's got a set because he displayed it on I Ruined the Weekend today, carrying stuff from my Kia. So Ken's just gone offline though. So Ken Taylor, asked him.
Yeah, Ken's not with us.
Yeah, and unless anyone else knows, because I can't order them off the store, off the Tesla store.
Even the US one?
Yeah, I'm just looking.
Prorack.com.au.
Let me write that down.
I just looked it up. I just Googled it.
Well, obviously, I didn't
What
think
year?
to do that. 2015.
Yeah. There you go. Fixed. Yeah, it's on there.
Products. Roof rack. Are they aero bars?
These are Aero Flush Bar.
Aero Flush Silver.
393.
What was the name of that website? Sorry, Richard.
Prorack.com.au.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
it.
the
There you go.
prorack.com.au.
And it's okay because I specifically want to get ones obviously for range efficiency that are the least impacting. So
Is there a search for find my car? Here we go.
So Aero Flush Bar is one, silver Aero Flush, 75 kilo loading, bits of factory mounts. It's not suitable for glass roof.
yeah, but it fits into the rails. So it's actually got rail on the.
And they look fairly aerodynamic. They're meant to be an aero one, yeah.
Yeah, Aero Flush.
Wicked.
Hey, hey, Richard, it's on the US website. They're $450, the Tesla ones.
Can I order that then?
Sorry?
Although, I mean, I'd rather get one for a company in Australia if. But can we order stuff off the US store?
Yeah, you're like I said, you got to go through My US or a freight forwarder.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's
I was
cool.
just looking at that, Pete. It looks really good. MyUS.com.
Oh, I used My US to get my my Aero wheels from the States. Yeah, expensive because everything goes by air, but yeah, it works and they're really good.
Yeah, only thing is, I ordered some wheel totes, and I ordered one for Brian as well. Brian Cleaver. I dropped it off to him today, but they came in a packet of two, and they had a nice Tesla box with all its logos and everything. But yeah, that was all ripped up because they obviously open it, take the photos and package it back up. But yeah, they didn't take too much care with the box. So luckily, I'm not a collector where the box is worth as much as the stuff inside. Otherwise, I wouldn't be very happy.
I've got a fair few things from a Lotus through myus.com, and I don't remember them. They've never sent me a photo of anything. So
yeah, right.
Don't
know. What's going on here?
You got to select something. No.
Hi, Harold, and everyone. Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll just let Pete just finish this little thing just for a
there
second.
it is.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah. All right. Go back now.
Thanks.
Sorry, sir. You go.
That's okay, mate. Okay, just a question regarding the charging again. Sorry, sorry to ask this question again. I know you had this conversation earlier.
Not at all. You can.
Yeah, I actually I didn't want to really have a separate charging because I'm quite comfortable with the charge I got free with the Tesla standard range. But I saw this advertisement, generation 3 for 750. So I got excited. I thought maybe I get that one and then connect it with my 3-phase power supply. So I got quotations for that around $500 with the 32 amp. And I thought that was reasonable. Then also I asked another quotation from the Tesla website. They had got this platinum supply, so whatever it is called. And they sent me a quotation today for $2,500 for the installation. So my question number one, is it really worth me doing that? Number two, well, platinum is a ripoff.
It's funny, Sarat, because Pete's going to describe this in a moment, but I think it was last week that Pete actually warned that will you tell a story, Pete?
Oh, no, exactly as you said, yeah. Yeah, because I did that myself when I first got it, and I got quotes from, them and another supplier that was, recommended or was on the Tesla website.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything as high as that. Mine was about 3 to 4 times higher than,
Question.
Yeah, but yeah, you shouldn't. I mean, unless there's an extra long cable run, or you got to rewire the whole switchboard or whatever. Yeah, about $300 to $600
It's
is
reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's
yeah. So would you guys think that it is reasonable thing to do? Now, I think I don't travel a lot. Normally, if I plug my car in, overnight or so, a couple of days time, night time, of course, it charged the battery sufficient enough. But for out of excitement, I thought I will buy $750. It's not too much. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I'll tell you a little story.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had to do a 200-kilometer drive quickly, and I didn't have enough charge in my car.
Right.
And I got a wall charger. It wasn't quick enough. So I buzzed down to the RAC. I spent $6 and filled the car up and left half an hour later.
Right. Okay. So
So
you don't
for
think
the
there's
odd
a need for
time,
that?
I don't think I'll get excited and spend all the money you want. We all do that. But there's not a lot of point, really.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Because you can always get a quick charge somewhere if you need to.
Sure. Thanks.
So yeah, obviously, if you want to buy a Tesla charger, it's awesome. They're $780,
Yeah.
and it certainly does the job. Do you have a single-phase house or a three-phase house?
Three-phase house.
Single phase?
Three-phase.
Three-phase. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So just go with the cheaper quote. Obviously.
Yeah.
$500 quote.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But check them out, Sarath. Ask some questions, because any electrician can install it. But obviously, if they've done one or two before, it's probably preferable. They probably won't spend, they won't spend half a day there doing it, and B, you won't be their guinea pig, if they've done a few before.
Yeah, I think they have been recommended by another one of our Tesla members that was on the Facebook page.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So here's
Well,
a
I
question.
paid $850,
Okay.
and it was the guys recommended by Harry. They were very good and very efficient, but it was $850.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who Harry recommends, and he's very good. He's probably the most experienced in Perth when it comes to charges, but he charges accordingly. So, but he's not, ridiculously expensive, but yeah, you do pay for his experience. One of the advantages that he has is he's actually got so in order to test whether the charge has been installed correctly, rather than plugging in your car to see if it works, he actually has a device that replicates, a load similar to what a car would do. And so that's an advantage. I mean, there's an advantage to having it, but yeah. So yeah, there's three ways you can go. You can go for the standard quotes between 300, 600. Yeah, about 850, 900 is what the other gentleman charges, and he's done, hundreds of them. Or you can go for someone off the website.
So here's another option. Is he going to get any higher charging than if he just gets a three-phase pigtail and uses his mobile connector and plugs into a three-phase?
Yes, he does, because he's got three-phase, he'll get 16 amps three-phase into his car, which is about 75 kilometers per hour, whereas
11 kilowatts.
So he gets 11
kilowatts. Whereas if you use it's effectively a single-phase tail that goes into your UMC, the thing you put in the boot, you'll only get 7.2 kilowatts, 32 amps, single-phase maximum.
Yeah, but do you ever need more than 7? I never run my car at 7 even.
True. But it's I guess one of the advantages is convenience factor is you always have your mobile connector, your charger in your car, and you use the house's physically connected high power wall connector, the Tesla charger on the wall. So whenever you're out and about, you don't have to remember to unplug your UMC from your house and take it with you, because it's always in your boot anyway. So that's one little convenience factor, that once you disconnect from home, you don't have to worry about taking it with you. because you've already got a mobile charger with you the whole time.
Sorry,
UMC lives in my attic.
Sorry, go Richard.
I say my UMC lives in my attic. I put it in my car to go on a trip.
Yes, but if you always use it at home, you never quite, if you go on a whim and just sort of take off somewhere or whatever, one advantage of having a separate charger bolted to your house is it stays at your house, and the one that's in your car stays in your car. So you don't have to think about the next step, in case something happens or for whatever reason you find yourself somewhere else that you need to charge.
Sarath, a very good option. Possibly one that sort of gives you a little bit, best of both worlds and a lot of options is to, you're on 3-phase, so you can get a 5-pin 32 amp 3-phase socket put in.
Yeah.
And you can buy one of the chargers from the club, the one that Harold mentioned earlier, for $750. And you can use that. You can just keep that on the wall and keep your UMC in the car when you're around town. And if you're going to go on a long trip, then you can throw that charger, there it is. You can throw that charger in the boot and take it with you. And it means that you'll be able to charge, at 11 kilowatts on any of the Ava 5-pin 3-phase plugs that are around the place.
Right.
And it comes with a mounting bracket as well.
It does, yeah, with a plastic one. Yep.
So so you leave the mounting bracket on your wall, and then you can clip this charger onto it. So you've done that, haven't you, Jared?
Yeah, correct.
So
I don't use it. I've already got a charger at home. I've got the Tesla charger at home, but I do have that one in the car, sitting in the car, ready to go.
Yeah, me too.
Just as a backup. So.
Okay.
And that's $700.
But it's a very
And that's $750 to club members, as opposed to that price you can see there from one of these Australian websites.
Alternatively, you could, if you wanted something a little bit cheaper, you could get just the pigtail, just the 5-pin pigtail for the UMC, but that means you'll be restricted to about 7 kilowatts when you're charging off the 32 amp sockets.
That's here, and actually this is from EVSE, and it's $155, possibly plus freight. I'm not entirely certain.
Yeah, I bought one of those.
So I've got both. I've got that one as well as the Tokor one, and that way I've got a bit of redundancy in case you get stuck.
So speaking of which, I mentioned well earlier that in your car you actually get this charger with it, and you actually get 2 tails. One's the 10 amp and one's the 15. The only difference is the earth pin is slightly thicker on the 15 amp one, so you can't poke it into a 10 amp outlet. But this charger here is what you get for free with the car. And this tail is the thing that Pete mentioned as the optional thing you can buy.
But then for you to use that 32 amp, you got to have 32 amp connection, right? Is that right?
Yes.
That's right.
Now, in your case, you've got 3-phase.
Yeah.
But if you went this cheapest option, you only need the electrician to install a 32 amp single phase circuit.
Right.
To a 32 amp 3-phase socket.
Right.
But not have 3-phase connected, because it would be wasteful. One thing you'll find is if you've got a 3-phase installation, it's more expensive. So I think it was Nikola Tesla, whoever Nikola Tesla really is. I'm sure that gentleman has passed quite a long time ago. But basically, on a 3-phase installation, you need a 3-phase circuit breaker and a 3-phase RCD, or sometimes it's combined together, which is called an RCBO, which is a residual current, which is the safety switch, built in with a circuit breaker. But those things are quite expensive compared to a single phased version, which you can get for as little as sort of $35 for a 32 amp single phase safety switch breaker all combined. 3-phase versions cost the best part of 8 times that sort of money, which is why the 3-phase installations are a bit more expensive, or can be a lot more expensive.
Mine was 3.
Plus, you may need to get a secondary board attached to your meter box because you might run out of places for circuit breakers. So that's where the installation can be a bit more expensive.
Yeah, I think this gentleman who gave me $500 quotations, including all that parts, plus his labor cost. So I think it is quite competitive that for 3-phase connection.
Look,
sorry, was it $500 plus labor, or was the labor?
No, all inclusive $550.
Yeah, that's fairly.
He said labor alone $200, 230 or something like that. Rest for the parts.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Just for reference, the standard Western Power connection is 32 amps.
Right.
Yes, that's something that most people don't realise, that Western Power technically only allocate 32 amps 3-phase per house.
Right.
Even though your boundary fuses are almost certain to be 80 amp boundary fuses, so you could draw 80 amps into your house 3-phase. Technically, they only allocate 32 to each house.
Right.
Which is where you can have issues when you connect extra solar or other things, and you want that approved. They suddenly then say, well, technically we're only really allocating you 22 kilowatts for the entire house, and anything else, technically you have to pay extra money for, even though you've already got the cabling into your house.
Corruption.
The reason is because if everyone in the street did that, then they'd have to upgrade the transformer capacity, etc. So
sure.
There is some logic behind it, but as Harold says, yeah.
But mine was connected to the solar. I had the solar first.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I got 3-phase connected to the panels.
Yes. No, the issue is with solar is they sort of limit the total amount of solar you can have in your house for many, many technical reasons that we can discuss a bit in our 3rd or 4th hour, where I can invite Jared to have a rant about a certain.
He's gone. He's left.
Oh no!
He's left. He left a minute ago.
But before that, I think that, unless I'm mistaken, Kay, you joined us later in the Ask Us Anything. You weren't here at the start.
Sorry. Kay's come with me. Kay's thinking
about an electric vehicle, and I just find this evening's interaction very enlightening, and I'm learning a lot. So I just thank you for that.
Okay, well, I think it's our job to sell you a Tesla and to explain exactly why these cars are so awesome. And one thing I guarantee you is that if and when you eventually buy a Tesla, your only regret will be that you hadn't done so earlier.
Yeah.
And I can definitely second that sentiment. In fact, I was explaining the other day, I actually ordered the Tesla Model X, had the order number 39 in Australia. So that was back in 2014. And when it
2013, Pete.
Or was it?
I think it was late 2013.
Yeah, mine was in December. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I might be getting it wrong, but yeah, it was a long time ago anyway. And I didn't go through with it because I just couldn't justify the cost. And I've decided just to wait for the Model 3. And I thought that was the right decision. And even after I got my car, I thought, yeah, that was you know, that was a sensible decision. It was financially the right thing to do, and now I regret it. So, you know, in the fullness of time and with experience, exactly as Harold said, my regret is that I didn't go through with that initial order. So
financially correct, emotionally not.
Hey, if you haven't ordered yet, Kay, try to get a referral link from someone, because you can't add it after ordering. You can't add a referral, so you'll miss out on the supercharger free kilometers if you don't use someone's referral link.
So I thought they fixed that, and you can now.
My brother-in-law tried and couldn't.
How recent?
I've tried.
This
so
is in
I know-
March, late March, early April.
Okay.
So I know
I'll be referring Kay, but is it still the same that we both get 15,000 kilometres free?
1,500, yes.
1,500, yeah. I did tell Kay that was the case, yeah.
Yeah.
So she gets
And,
it as well, doesn't she?
And
So
you've
when
got to make
you
sure,
order- when you order
Kay,
your
that
car, Kay, you've got to get Jean's referral code, and it'll start with ts.la. No, yeah, I think that's right. / whatever your referral code is, Jean. And for anyone that doesn't know how to find their referral code, you just go to your Tesla app.
Kay's not ready for
Press on
that
the,
yet.
the little loot
Yeah.
box on the right-hand corner,
Hmm.
and then it has a share referral link button.
Right.
That first
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And when you press that, the quickest way I do it is I just send it to messages, and it'll then show the referral code there. And then you can give that, it's actually like a website. So you then just enter that in and then select your car, the whichever, it's a standard range plus or long range or performance Model 3, and then you buy it through that link. It's still via Tesla's website, but it guarantees that you get the 1,500 free supercharging kilometers, Kay, and so does Jean as well.
Okay then,
Yeah,
thanks.
Kay's looking at all different brands. So how would you say Tesla compares with, what was the one you was looking
What
at?
are you looking at, Kay?
It doesn't. That's the short.
There's no other option.
And
why?
that's
why. Tell her why.
Why?
So, well, hang on. So, wait, Pete. It's okay. What else have you been looking at in electric cars?
I haven't. I've just been researching on the internet, just trying to, just looking at the different styles. But I must admit the Tesla just looks beautiful for me. And when I saw Jean's from a distance, the Model 3, I thought that's just exactly what I would like to have. And but just at the moment, I'm just sort of just listening to the discussions and the interaction from all you people are just giving me so much information that I really treasure what you've been able to instill into me in my knowledge sphere of the electric vehicles. It's just wonderful.
Well, for one great thing is, I mean, I presume you have a smartphone, because all of us have a smartphone these days. And I must admit, I came late to smartphones. I think I got an Apple iPhone version 4, roughly. So there are already 3 or 4 or 5 other versions, because they had the iPhone 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 3S and whatever. So I was a little bit late because I had a Nokia, and I thought, well, why do you want a flat screen that you got no tactile feedback or anything like that? And I thought, well, smartphones are a bit stupid. It's not until you actually experience it that you find just how good it is. And as an example, if you see, this is actually the screen that you'll see, and you've seen this on Jean's car. And this can do so many things. When you go into the car, the menu setting, you've got all these adjustments that you can make. So you can change, like for instance, the headlights come on by themselves; they're automatic, so you don't have to worry about that ever again. Turning on your headlights, your locks.
Dimmer switch.
You use your key card as a key. You don't have a traditional metal key, but you can also add your phone becomes the actual key. So when you approach your car, just having your phone in your purse or in your handbag, it automatically unlocks for you. And when you walk away from the car, it automatically locks. So you don't ever, the funny thing is, all us Tesla owners, if we hop into a petrol car, we sometimes leave it idling and running because we just walk out, we just hop out of the car and just leave. And we sort of forget, oh yes, we've got to turn this engine off. The display, you've got, the display automatically dims at night time. When you're driving, you can actually change the mode. If the car's a little bit sort of too quick or too responsive,
It's on screen.
you can change it to what's called chill mode, which sort of behaves more like a standard sort of petrol car. It's sort of more sedate. You've got autopilot, which will steer for you all by itself, which at first sounds a little bit freaky, but it's such an awesome experience so that you can relax while the car.
No, it's definitely freaky. There's definitely a freak mode there.
Jared, you've just got to have some more of that Gatorade and just freak it, mate. It's all good. It's all good. With your navigation, you've got automatic navigation. The screen, a third of the screen is taken up with the map, which is fantastic when you're driving around and navigating to places. You've got, I think that's probably, oh no, then you've also got, entertainment. You can play games, or you can watch Netflix if you're parked somewhere and charging your car, or YouTube. There's even tutorials. You've got, there's actually a web browser, so you can browse the internet in your car. You've also got surround cameras, so you've got a rear view camera, and you've also got left and right hand side cameras as well. So it's great for when you're parking, and you actually have, it's not shown here, but you've got guidelines that actually show where your car is going to go as you turn the steering wheel going backwards.
Okay, Harold, I'll buy another one. You've sold me.
I was going to say, when do you get a job at Tesla selling cars?
Hang on, we're only just getting started here.
I love the air conditioner controls. The way
that's exactly what I was going to
mention. Right now, the air conditioner.
That's what I like.
This is a great pro tip for new owners and prospective owners. When you first get your car, it'll probably look something like this. So you can change the temperature. You have it automatic, or you can have it in manual mode, and you'll have air coming out of these vents. But one thing that most people don't realize is you can actually get your fingers, just like on a smartphone, and you sort of pull your fingers apart. You can actually split the airstream so that the air can blow to the side of your body, but not in your face if you want it to. And you can redirect in any direction you like. And the same for the driver's side as well. So you can actually change the airstream to any direction. And you can either have
up and down.
Whoops, sorry, you can either have it together like this, so it's one stream, or it can be split, and it does go up and down. I just haven't done that on this demo presentation. You've also got automatic wipers, so the wipers will come on by themselves.
Sorry, Harold, just go back to the aircon. Kay, one of the things that you'll absolutely learn to love is that you can control the aircon with your app remotely. So let's say you're in a shopping centre, you've had your car in the sun for an hour and a half. Rather than coming back to a really hot oven, you can precondition the car. You can have it set at 24 degrees, or you can have it at 19 degrees, and it's like sitting inside a fridge. So it's that's a really big creature comfort.
And there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can do it 5 minutes before you leave the shopping centre, or you think, I'm only going to be 10 minutes, I'll just leave the air conditioning on.
Yeah, so you press here, which is on, and that'll just keep it on at whatever temperature you've set it for as long as you're away from the car. And if you have, say, a dog, there's a dog mode, which is basically the same thing, but the screen, I haven't taken the photo of this, but the screen actually shows like this cartoon of a dog, and it says that my owner will be back soon. Well, no, I think I'm fine. It's 21 degrees in here, and my owner will be back soon. So you can actually leave a pet in the car, and people won't freak out, because in dog mode, it actually shows a thing on the screen saying that, you know, your pet's being looked after.
The other thing you can do is, you know, if you don't want to touch the screen, you just use voice commands. You can actually just say, you know, push the right scroll wheel button and say, set temperature to 22 degrees. Or
So that's
set,
this visible scroll wheel just here on the right-hand side.
Or set fan to, you know, 4, and it'll put the fan up to speed 4.
Or play Deep Purple.
Yeah, or you can even say silly things like, I'm hot, and it'll just set it to cold, or vice versa.
Or you can say open butthole, and he'll open the charging port.
I didn't know that. Is that where you say, "Oh, navigate to here" or whatever?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or phone here. So you
There's
can
a
turn
bunch.
you can turn the air conditioner on there.
Yeah, or you can turn it off altogether. If you just hit the button and go aircon off, and it'll.
I didn't know that. Oh, well, that's good. Thank you.
Another thing, if you get a text message, it'll read it to you, and you can dictate back to it, and it'll send the text message back to whoever sent you one.
And another pro tip is under navigate.
Okay, I haven't done that either.
That's again, click that right scroll wheel if you get you just need to set it up. It's
I
brilliant.
don't know if I've set navigate on this. Oh, I haven't. But you can set your home and workplace. And one easy way to do that is you can just click on here and it'll have home or work or any other location. But you can also swipe this to the right. So if you sort of put your finger where my mouse is there and swipe to the right, it'll automatically go home.
Or swipe down.
Or swipe down. And that will also automatically go to your home location.
Okay, the important thing is that one of the things that you'll get with the Tesla that you'll pretty much won't get with any other car is, you know, there's some other company that has the slogan, you know, the new car feeling. Well, that's just the marketing slogan, but with a Tesla, it's actually true, because it's one of the few cars where with a over-the-air software update, just like your phone updates periodically with the new software, so the car does the same thing. And we just found out, I think it was today or yesterday, that there's a new user interface. So what you saw there, the user interface that was shown during the Model S Plaid event recently, that's going to come to the Model 3 and the Model Y as well. And you'll actually be able to customize a lot of those menus and the layout of the screen to suit yourself. So, you know, that's one of the really exciting things with the Teslas, is the continuous updates. So when I bought my car, for instance, it couldn't do single pedal driving. It didn't have Netflix, didn't have YouTube. I could call the car to come to me, but I had to stand within 5 meters of it, and it would only go forward and back in a straight line. Whereas now it can find me in a car park from up to about 60 meters away. So, you know, all these great things that have come free of charge. Also,
and the 5% more horsepower, don't forget.
I was about to say 5% more power and roughly about 5 kilometers more range as well. And Tesla is the only so there are a couple of other manufacturers that are now starting to bring that over-the-air functionality in, but Tesla is the only manufacturer that can actually change the performance and the driving characteristics of the car through an over-the-air update. No one else can do that. But you know, all those are nice sort of things to have. But the really important thing is the Model 3 is, well, Tesla in general is the safest car on the market. So if Elon mentioned during the Model S Plaid event, the top 4 safest cars in the world are occupied by Teslas. It's the only car that has achieved a 5-star rating in every single one of the, so the US regulator is called the NHTSA, the National Highway and Traffic Safety Authority. So they do the crash tests, etc. And Tesla is the only manufacturer that's got 5 stars in every single category, which is, quite incredible. Also, in terms of from a financial perspective, in terms of depreciation. So, you know, an average car will depreciate, about 39% after about 3 years. The statistics, we don't have stats from Australia yet, it's too early, but the stats from US are Model 3s depreciated less than 10% after 3 years, which is quite incredible. And Elon has, you know, mentioned that once full self-driving, you know, which is 2 weeks away, once full self-driving comes in, you know, he thinks that will be worth, you know, $100,000 US, just that little chip in the car. So, you know, he has mentioned that these are potentially the first cars, apart from exotics or limited edition supercars, that will actually appreciate rather than depreciate in value. And if you combine that with having, you know, really cheaper insurance, so RAC has cheaper insurance, obviously much cheaper. So there's basically no maintenance. There is no scheduled maintenance. So it's the only manufacturer that has that. But yeah, maintenance is fairly minimal. If you combine that with free charging at home, if you've got a solar system, or free charging at shopping centres, if you combine that with, like I said, you know, lower depreciation, let's say you've got a sliding doors moment. You can either listen to all of us and go and buy a Model 3, or let's say you buy an average Toyota Camry, you know, or some other $40,000 car, and let's say you keep both cars for 3 years, and then let's say you sell both cars just after 3 years. The longer you hold your Tesla for, the better off you'll be. But if you sell both of them after 3 years, you'll probably find you've got at least $10,000 more in your bank account than if you bought the Toyota Camry. But you've been driving the safest car on the road, a car that, you know, is updating all the time, that's so much fun to drive, that can do all these great things for you, and, you know, you're going to look absolutely fantastic in it too.
It says,
Okay, I'll buy another one. That's 3.
One of the attractions and the reason why the Teslas appreciate, in my opinion, is that they don't bring out a new model each year. The model is stable. They're a beautiful car, in my opinion, and they don't age.
Well, there's only been, with the Model S, there's only been 2 changes in 10 or 12 years, and that's the nose cone. That's been really the only change on the outside.
Yeah.
And internally, they've just flipped a screen from a portrait to, you know, a landscape. So,
and you won't find a more comfortable seat.
I'm going to grab the opportunity to ask a question of the group, because my 11-year-old grandson said to me, "Granddad, I can see the Tesla on your screen as you're driving along. Does your car recognise other Teslas when you're driving along? If one passes you, do you see another Tesla model on your screen?"
Well, yes. It actually shows most cars, standard cars, as Teslas, but it doesn't yet show them as the model that they are. So it doesn't differentiate between a Model 3 and a Model S or a Model X. But that is actually something that I think Elon Musk has mentioned in a tweet quite a long time ago, that will be an upcoming feature whereby it will recognize whether it's a Model 3, Model S, Model X, Model Y, Cybertruck, or Roadster for that matter. What it does do, though, is it does actually show if it's a bus, if it's a truck, if it's a ute,
if it's a motorbike, if it's a
pedestrians,
if it's a rubbish bin, if it's a witch's hat.
Wheelie bins. That was the best thing when you're driving along on bin day and you just see all these wheelie bins that are going like to the side of you as it shows the car driving on the road. It's just amazing.
It's amazing.
But in terms
would somebody would somebody mind explaining the Sentry mode?
Oh yes. So Sentry mode, it's actually this symbol right here. So that's this symbol here. And in fact, in your settings, under safety and security, you've got Sentry mode here. So you turn it on. Now, one thing you can do is you can tick exclude home, because what Sentry mode does do is it does consume some energy, because the autopilot computer has to be running and the cameras have to be on when Sentry mode is active. So you can exclude home or work and favorites. So
But what does Sentry mode, what does it do?
So Sentry mode uses all the cameras to record at all times. So there are 7 or 8 cameras, and they record at all times. Well, actually not all of them are being used, but many of them are. And it also senses using ultrasonic sensors and also the shock sensor. So if someone hits the car or comes up close to the car, it's always recording and storing that information on a little memory stick that these days is in the glove box of the car. But in your case, Jean, you have to get a memory stick and put it into one of your USB slots in the front part of your car, in the cabin. Whereas the new Shanghai built cars have a separate USB location in the glove box. Oh, and by the way, there is no manual switch for the glove box. There's this symbol here that just says glove box. So when you touch that, it opens the glove box. But you can actually also, under security, I think it is, actually assign a PIN. So a 4-digit PIN number to unlock the glove box. And you can also do the same thing to drive the car. So that can be an extra safety feature if someone, for instance, takes your key card or grabs your phone, if that's being used as a key card to unlock your car. If you put the PIN to drive, it just means you need to put in a 4-digit PIN number before you can drive the car off. Or you can just restrict it to your glove box. So people can't get easy access to your valuables if they're in the glove box. Or
Face ID.
Sorry, Carmen?
Face ID?
Yes. Yes.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yes, mine has.
Your phone has.
On the phone.
Oh, on the phone, yes, that's right. Yes, you can use Face ID on the phone to unlock the car and get it to drive. So getting back to Sentry mode, so if something happens, like if someone gets close to your car, you can actually then launch a viewer, and the viewer will actually show you what it's recording. In fact, these are the cameras. It records the front camera, the rear camera, and the left backwards facing camera, and the right backwards sort of 45-degree angle camera. And you can actually click on any of these images, and that will then show a full screen of that camera. So what happens is, in this case, this actually has an hour of recording. So it records an hour of driving or of it being parked. But there's a little menu item here. In this case, this one doesn't actually have any recording. So when you go back to Sentry mode and you launch the viewer, there's this little menu item here can show what are called Sentry events, which is if someone's come too close to your car and the car sort of is alarmed or doesn't freak out, but it records. And what will actually happen is there'll be like a little red dot on this little progress bar, and the red dot is when that was triggered. But something else that the car does is, you see this symbol here, this is actually the dash cam. So when you're driving your car, it's always recording. So there is a setting under safety and security for save clips on honk. So if you toot your horn, if this if you turn this this menu thing on, it will then treat that as a recording event. So it will record. Well, it's always recording, but it actually saves a clip that I think goes for a couple of minutes before you honked your horn and a couple of minutes after, roughly. So say if someone cut you off, you could honk your horn and it will record that clip for later on. So you could then, or if there was an accident, you could then show that, well, I was in my lane and this person came into me and caused an accident, or I had to brake because of, you know, there was someone braking in front of me and someone hit me from behind. It will then show that on the dash cam. So that's that symbol here. And that's something that, you know, I don't think any other cars have, is surround recording, video recording at all times of your car. So that's another reason, compelling reason.
We should also mention that you're obviously doing the right thing for the environment. In fact, Tesla hit a milestone recently. So all Teslas out there have offset 18 million tons of carbon dioxide since they've been producing them over the last 10 years or so, which is absolutely huge. It's enough to move the needle, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So Kay, it's sort of, I mean, look, you've ridden in Jean's car. You've had a ride in Jean's car.
No, I haven't yet. Not yet.
Oh, look, highly recommend you do. So, Jean, you need to take Kay for a spin, and
that's your homework.
It's look, and I can honestly say I actually ordered a Hyundai Kona electric before they were released in Australia. So I went to a prominent Hyundai dealer, in fact, Western Australia, or Australia's first Hyundai dealer. And I had to fill out one of those old-fashioned manual offer forms that you used to buy cars all on paper with in triplicate or whatever it was, duplicate, because they didn't know what the product code was. They didn't know what the price was, but I insisted that I wanted to order it before it arrived. And I thought that the price would be about $50,000, bearing in mind that a standard Hyundai Kona petrol version you can get for as little as $25,000. The more premium version is about $30,000. I predicted it would be, this was a couple of years, it was almost 2 years ago. I predicted it would be about, no, sorry, it was 18 months ago. I predicted it would be about $50,000. It ended up being $65,000 for a Hyundai Kona. Now, Konas are great cars as electric cars go, but for an extra $5,000, you can get a Model 3. And that is a no-brainer. Because getting back to how Pete was describing the software updates, a great quote that Elon Musk has said, which is really true, is that for an ordinary conventional car, when you buy it, that is the best it will ever be. Because a brand new conventional car only ever degrades and gets worse. You know, it's never quite as good as it was the first day you got it. Once the new car smell wears off, you know, which is lovely, by the way, but once that wears off, everything gets a little bit less efficient, less pleasant. Nothing ever gets better. But in Teslas, the complete opposite is the case. You can wake up in the morning and you'll get a new software update and suddenly there'll be all these improvements or extra features. Now, some of them are a little bit, you know, frivolous, but sort of a bit of fun. You know, one example is under the toy box, you know, you've got the emissions thing, which is, it's like a virtual whoopee cushion. So when you just press your finger on this whoopee cushion, it does like fart sounds, which is really stupid. But grandkids just love it. You know, they just cack themselves laughing about it. And you've got a sketch pad. So you've got you can do doodles, as in sketches and stuff on the screen, which actually can be quite useful if you don't have a pen to write down something like someone's number or something. You can quite quickly bring up the sketch pad and quickly scribble something on the screen and save it.
There is no way I will show any of the kids any of those features. But I think an important one, Harold, is that Tesla has a set price, like Apple computers, and you don't have to worry about whether you've got the right price or not. And the people that sell it to you are not on commission. So it makes a bit of a difference. I think that's one of the best features.
Absolutely. So for instance, if you go in to buy a Model 3, and in fact, this dovetails into Nikola Tesla's question about Model 3s and ordering. So, you know, the price for a Standard Range Plus is, you can see on the bottom here, is $69,551. And there's no negotiation, there's no haggling. The person at the showroom doesn't say, what is it going to take me to get you into this car today? You know, you just go to their website, and in fact, it's the only way you can buy the car. So say you go and see Harry or Joel or all the other salespeople, and you say, right, I want to buy this car. They'll take you, if you like, they'll take you to a PC in the showroom, open up this website. But of course, what you will do is actually you'll use the referral code. But again, they will, if you say I've got a referral code, they'll say, cool, what is it? And they'll enter it in for you if you want them to, or you can do this on your phone. You could buy this car in 30 seconds on your phone, literally 30 seconds. In fact, we can do it right now because—
I'll start the stopwatch, Harold.
Hang on, we'll just go—
when to start.
Okay, we'll go custom order.
Well, hang on. I haven't even got the stopwatch up yet.
So I've got to put in WA. Wait. I've got to put in WA.
So tell me when to start.
Continue. Okay, so we want a Standard Range Plus. I think that's probably a good deal. Let's have a look.
Starting now.
Okay, so we want Standard Range Plus, and we want it in white because that's an awesome pearl white. We want the standard wheels, standard black interior, full self-driving. We'll do that later. We'll continue to payment. Estimated delivery 3 to 13 weeks. We want cash, yes. Order with card.
25 seconds.
$150, and that'll be
29 seconds.
a payment thing, and I don't know why it's frozen. I did say order with card, but it's frozen on me. But basically,
They know you. They
it will
obviously
then—
know you.
Sorry?
They know you.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, in 30 seconds, you can order this car, and it'll even describe it as a PDF. So it'll show all the features, all the prices. $69,551 for a white with black interior, standard wheels. It'll do approximately 448 kilometers, roughly, a little bit less perhaps. There's all your on-roads. There's no negotiation. Job done.
Did I see one on Facebook today, secondhand, for $72,000 at a Nissan dealership or something?
You did.
Someone see
Yes.
that?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
I thought I saw that. Thanks. It was secondhand with 6,000 Ks on it or something.
Worth more than new. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yes, worth more than new. Yeah.
I think someone commented on it. They said, "This is how Nissan sells a Tesla."
Oh, it's an automatic. It's a hybrid.
Yeah, it was a hybrid. That's right. I saw that bit. Yeah.
Actually, one last little thing is it's 69,551, But on the next page, if you actually got it as a loan instead, it would be 84 easy payments of $919 a month with a interest rate of 2.99%.
Yeah, that's their finance group.
Yeah, which is actually not that bad, really, considering that in the old days, car loans were well in excess of 10% per annum.
And that's a fixed rate too. So whether the interest rates go up or
Yeah,
down,
that's
that won't
Pepper
change.
Money, isn't it?
Yeah,
Pepper Money?
yeah. That or Macquarie, they've got two. Pepper.
Yeah.
Or,
I think it's Pepper. Yeah,
Pepper Money's owned by Tesla, isn't it?
sorry, no, it's Pepper. It's Pepper Finance.
Isn't
Now,
that
for instance,
owned by?
that's $77,196 over 84 months, compared to 69.5, which is not terrible. You know, if you've got something to do with your money in the meantime, such as buy Tesla shares. Not that that's financial advice, but you could do worse than buy a Tesla car and some Tesla shares, just quietly.
actually, speaking of which,
Yes, what are they?
no, when I bought my Model 3, I really struggled with, similar sort of qualms that I had about taking delivery of the Model X. And I thought, well, should I really be buying the car, or should I be, use the money and put it into the shares instead? So I ended up getting a loan on the car and putting the money in the shares. So
well done.
that was, definitely worth it.
I've got a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Oh, actually, sorry, who was that? So say again. That's Barry.
Yeah.
Before you do, hold that thought, and I will get back to you. Cam has just asked a question about basically his radio not working for the first 5 minutes.
Yes, I'm just speaking for Dad. He's just at a seminar, but he asked me to ask you if you had any advice or tips or know about this.
Yes, so that's a Model X.
Radio.
Okay. I feel your pain, because that's exactly what my car does, and it's exactly what many cars, the Model S's and X's in particular, with the new media control unit, the MCU2.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what it is there's a software issue that Tesla know about, and it's something they will be sending an update to those cars to fix it.
Okay. Yeah.
The only issue is the fix isn't anytime. It's not going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
But hopefully, over the next few weeks, they will push an update, which will fix
Mine fixed, Harold, by resetting it, resetting the screen.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's been perfect since.
Yes. Well, in the Model S's and X's with the new screens, unfortunately, they've got this bit of an issue, but Tesla will fix it. So Kay, that might sound a bit freaky, like, oh, there's problems. Sometimes you get undocumented features when they bring out an update. A little bit like sometimes, I don't know, like, I've got iPhones, but sometimes you get a software update and then they'll realize that, it works a little bit weirdly for a little while. So then they'll do another update and fix that problem. So I guess that's the yin and yang. You all get awesome updates. Sometimes there'll be a minor little bug that slips through, but Tesla then quite quickly fix it. But Cam, that will be fixed. It's definitely known about.
But we should say, Harold, also, that if you're comparing it to an internal combustion engine car, an electric car, a Tesla, is much, much more reliable.
Yes.
Because first of all, there's so many less parts, so many less things to go wrong. But even if there is a problem with the screen or what have you, just like your phone, you can reset it. You can even reset it while you're driving, or you can just pull over and do a hard reset. Either way, it takes less than 90 seconds and you're on your way. And that fixes 99.9% of problems. If it doesn't, what you do is you put in, so for example, I had a issue where I was driving and the rear view camera wouldn't come up. So I did the reset and it didn't work. So then I just opened up my app and put in a scheduled a service appointment. And as soon as you do that, it pops up at Tesla's headquarters, so they know there's been, and you get to describe what the issue is. So I just put in there, review camera won't work. And by the time I woke up the next morning, it was fixed, because they actually come into your car remotely and look at the logs, and whatever the issue is, they fix it. And then, then I cancelled the appointment and I was fine to go.
They do check your glove box to see if you've got any change in there too, apparently. Only laying around.
Barry, still please hold your thought. Sorry, I'm going to throw to you in a sec, but Nikola Tesla has asked a question about ordering a car. Now, feel free to pipe up if you like, or I can basically just read the question here, if you like.
Yeah, I can jump in. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hello. So yes, I ordered a Model 3 last week, about Tuesday. Turn my camera on. So yeah, I got the red with the white interior and 19-inch wheels, and got the standard 3 to 13 weeks delivery quote that they tell you on the website. But yeah, speaking with the Tesla rep today, they're sort of saying it may be as late as December for that particular, I guess, a custom order or custom design. So yeah, just wondering, anyone's got any feedback or insight?
So just hold that thought for just 2 seconds. Knowing that you're the gentleman speaking right there, you have a striking resemblance to this gentleman.
Yeah, that's me.
And the same name too.
Yeah. What a coincidence.
Yeah, I took that photo about 100 years ago. Yeah, it's a good one.
You haven't aged a bit. It's right.
He needed the work.
I never thought about that. Yeah.
But just on that point, you probably find that Harry or Joel or Adam or whoever mentioned that we're probably being conservative, and you might find that because we've got a 4th shipment on the way, which is a first for WA. So there's already a ship which it's been arrived at Port Kembla a couple of weeks ago now, I think. So I'll be surprised if you didn't get your car in that shipment. That said, though, it is quite possible that all those cars have already been spoken for.
Yep.
In which case, yeah, the next lot will be towards the end of the quarter again in December. So, but look, there might be a small chance. Some people don't go ahead with their deliveries for whatever reason. They don't get finance, or personal circumstances change, whatever the case may be. So,
but from a quarter point of view, we're only just starting this quarter right now, and they make the right-hand drive vehicles, as far as I know, still at the start of the quarter, so they can then ship them. So they're making whatever they need to right now, and then they'll be delivered by September, not December. So I reckon you'll get it in that 3 to 13 like they originally quoted.
Yeah, it's sort of phrased to me as yeah, there's a chance, but it's a bit, that's very iffy. Like
unless that is a random, like a totally not regular configuration, red with white interior standard 19. So
like Richard Cooper waited. How long was it, Richard?
1,309 days.
I've got to count how
3 years for me.
It's a very sad story.
Yes.
Yeah, 3.5 for me, yeah.
I waited 3
1,290
years.
for me. Yeah.
So I think, Nicola, what you should do is
tell us your real name.
Sorry?
You should tell us his real name.
Name me next week.
You should stick to your guns as for instance, I showed it on the screen a moment ago. There is a red with white interior car, but it is the performance, so it's significantly dearer than a standard range plus. And you're right, there are no SR pluses, they're always at the top. There are no red SR pluses with a white interior. There's an SR plus with a black interior, But if you're not into black, then what you should do is just keep the order you have. And as Pete said, there is a finite chance, and it's absolutely a non-zero chance. There's probably a reasonable chance that even if you're only going to get your car in November or something, or October or something like that, there might be one that matches your order that falls through, or for some other reason is surplus, and you can get it sooner. So look, you know, Richard and Jean waited more than 3 years for their cars. I actually waited more than 3 years for my Model X. And as painful as it was to wait, once the car arrived, you just didn't care anymore. It didn't matter. Everything was forgiven and forgotten. Didn't matter because you got what you wanted. So my only personal suggestion is don't compromise on what you want. Just stick by your guns. Drive by Tesla every day if you want to ogle the cars, and go for another test drive, because Harry won't care. He'll let you go for a test ride or whatever. But just stick to what you want. Don't compromise. Unless you can convince yourself to maybe get a long range instead of a standard range plus, but of course it costs more money. But yeah, stick by the colors and the format that you want, because when you finally get it, it'll be worth it. And it will be worth the wait.
Good advice. Good advice that I've always heard was go for the largest battery you can afford.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't test drive a performance, because you'll fall in love with it.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
Performance. Trust me, stay away from it. It's too good.
That is good advice.
So yeah, so the time frame, I think Harry really doesn't know, because anything can happen. It's, you know, the fact that there was a fourth ship, that's contrary to what Tesla normally do. They normally religiously want to have and make sure that any cars they produce in a quarter are delivered in that same quarter, because otherwise there's this overhang of inventory. And whereas most car manufacturers have more than 70 days of stock in inventory, Tesla are down to 8 days. They're trying to get that to even less. In fact, Tesla basically sell their cars before they paid their component suppliers for the components that they've actually sold or transformed into a car and sold. So the faster Tesla grows, the more money they make. Whereas a traditional company, if traditional companies grow too fast, they can literally go bankrupt because they can't afford the parts, because they usually have to hang on to them for much longer. Longer than before. They have to pay for them before they ever get money for the finished product. And unless you've got great cash flow or actually great capital injections, you can easily go broke if you grow too quickly. Tesla, it's the opposite. The faster they grow, the more orders they take and can deliver, the more money they make.
They've got the opposite of a cash flow problem.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. But yeah, stick to your guns, Nicola. Just feel the pain of waiting, but realize that once you got it, you're not going to care, and it won't matter. It really won't.
But there's so much fun stuff you can watch on YouTube to get you, to keep you company over the next couple of months.
And there's always eBay. There's always eBay in the meantime.
And you're not going to get a discount with that name either.
That's right.
Try Thomas Edison.
Maybe Thomas might give you a discount.
Cool, thanks.
Harold, if no one's got any other questions.
Oh no, we've got. Sorry, no, Pete. Hold on.
Okay,
that,
go on.
Sorry, no, hold on to that thought, because Barry's got a couple. I owe Barry some questions.
Yes.
Yeah. So Pete, remember what you were going to say.
Okay.
And yeah, Barry, go.
Yeah. Thanks, Harold. Yeah, so I picked up the long range on Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Really good handover. Couldn't complain about, I'd heard the stories about how quick it can be. Yes, it was reasonably quick, but I wasn't rushed, and they provided everything I needed and what have you. Absolutely loving it. As you said, wish I'd done it years ago. The 3.5 month wait for it was certainly worth it for Nicola's benefit. Absolutely worth the wait. I got a couple of questions as a new user. The first, which I actually posted about on the Facebook group, was my complete frustration with the cruise control. I could not figure out how on earth it works, because it just didn't do what I thought it did. It set speeds that appeared to be completely random to me, which subsequently I think was partly my misunderstanding about what the Tesla does. And even then, I'm not 100% sure, because I've Googled it and I get different answers. Some of the things, my questions on it were answered. But the first and most significant one, I got the impression when I did the test drive that when you set the cruise control to cruise at the current speed limit, that when you went from one speed zone to the next, it automatically changes speed.
No.
And I thought it did that during the test drive. I think I now know why I thought that. So, of course, I was driving home down the freeway at 100, went into the 80 zone. The speed limit sign changed to 80 on the dash, and it kept going at 100. So I had to manually slow it down. And then when it came out of the 80, went to 100, it just kept going at 80 and it didn't go up to 100, which totally confused me, because I thought that's what it's supposed to do. And I've Googled it, and I found a UK website, a user group, much like TopWork, a UK equivalent, where someone had actually put a poll in there asking a similar question, but they didn't just have a yes/no answer. But the biggest response, which I think was 27% of people, said, yes, absolutely, it does do that.
It does.
The answer
in
is
certain
it doesn't.
situations. Yeah.
Yeah. So around Perth, it generally doesn't. Generally, if you go for a country drive, the great thing is you're doing 110 on the highway. You approach a small town and the speed limit goes generally to like 80, and then it will go to maybe 60 or 50, and the car will hit those limits and slow down to the limit. And then as you go through the other side of the town and the limits go usually to 80 and then to 110, the car will resume along its way. In fact, it's so smart that if you were doing 100 in the 110 zone, it would slow down to 80 and then 50, then back up to 80. And then when it hit the 110 zone, it would actually resume at the 100 k's an hour you had selected previously. So it's super smart. But around Perth, it generally doesn't do that. It's frustrating. Now, I think possibly the reason why you thought it was going to change speed limits is it is very good at either using GPS coordinates and mapping data to know what the speed limit is. So the speed limit sign it shows on the screen, which I haven't got a screen capture of it, but it does show, fairly accurately show the speed limit of the area you're in.
Yeah.
And also the cameras can actually pick up things like roadworks signs.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it can mess that up because it might see a 40 sign, but it might not see the end of that construction zone. So therefore it sort of, it dooms you to stay at 40.
I've noticed that, and that didn't worry me because that was okay. It didn't see it. That's okay. But when it was displaying what the current speed limit is,
Yes.
and it then totally ignored that. That's what threw me.
Yep. And unfortunately, that is entirely normal in Perth and other major cities. I don't know if it does it in Bunbury as well. It probably does. I'm not entirely certain. But frustratingly, when you go out to smaller towns, you know, on the highway, it works perfectly.
Oh, okay.
It's just it seems to be a policy of Tesla that it's just declared an urban area as a no-go zone for automatic speed adjustments.
Right.
In almost all cases.
Yeah.
So it's entirely normal. Sorry, what was the other thing you were mentioning?
Hang on, Carol.
Yes.
If you don't mind me jumping. Barry, how did you fix that problem? Say you're going along the freeway at 100 and you drop into an 80 zone and the car's still doing 100. How did you fix it?
Okay, two things. There's the first answer and the second answer. The only way I knew to fix it was to scroll with the wheel to change the speed. And then when you came out the other side, scroll it back up again. But I watched a YouTube video last night and I tested it today, pressed the speed limit sign, and it automatically changes either up or down, which I think is what you were about to tell me.
No, and there's one other way.
Yeah.
Is if you just press the stalk halfway down, hold it for a couple of seconds, then it'll jump to the correct speed.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that one.
So rather than having to look at, you have to look at the screen, which is a bit dangerous. You just hold your stalk down halfway, and it'll kick into the right speed.
Yeah. So I think at first I did it by cancelling cruise, waiting for it to slow down, and then resetting it. Or if you wanted to speed up, cancel and immediately turn it back on, and it go up to the right speed.
So you know if you're using your scroll wheel, if you do a quick scroll, it's 5Ks.
It's 5 and then slow as 1. Yeah, I got that.
And yeah, pull down on the handle and it'll just go. It'll go to the correct speed.
And if you happen to be over the speed limit when you do turn it on, it goes at the speed you set, not the speed limit.
So Steve, you've got your hand up. Were you going to answer something a part of that?
Yeah, I was going to suggest that I found it works better with auto steer also engaged. I found that if auto steer is not engaged, that the automatic adjustment of the speed limit going in and out of towns in the country wasn't working well. So if I have auto steer on, it does work much more reliably.
A corollary of that is you can get the experience whereby if it thinks for some reason the speed limit is not what it should be, the car, depending on the type of road, will refuse to go at a higher speed on autopilot, but on traffic aware cruise control, it will allow you to notionally exceed the speed limit. Now, having said that, there is actually a setting in the menu in the menu of the car. So if you use the car, if you press the car symbol and then go into autopilot and you scroll down, there is a menu where you can actually offset.
Yes, I'm familiar with that one. The only one on that screen I don't understand is the one lower down where it says speed limit relative and absolute. I've no idea what that is.
I thought that relative. Yeah, does anyone want to care to explain that?
Yeah, I use that.
Yeah, go, Richard.
So I have mine set at 7Ks over. So if I'm in a 60 zone and I've got it on absolute, and I go into a 50 zone, I don't realise, and I'm doing 60, it'll beep at me because I've got 7. So if I'm doing 56, it doesn't beep. If I go to 57, it does beep, just to tell me I'm speeding. It only goes for 10 seconds, then it'll stop, so you can speed if you want.
Okay, so it's offset on the warning.
Yeah.
Not on the actual speed, because that's
speed limit warning. It's in the same box as the speed limit warning. So you can just slow, chime, or
Right. Okay.
That makes
And
sense.
the other thing I noticed, it does slow down when you come off a freeway onto the ramp.
Yes.
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 Okay. And
yes.
Sorry, the last one on that topic.
Yep.
I went through some roadworks, and it suddenly just stopped driving, and it just slowed right down. And it was, I think the limit was 60 in the in the roadworks, and it showed 60 on the screen, and I was doing 60, and then for no apparent reason, it suddenly slowed down
to 40. And the reason why it did that, I bet you anything, is because it saw lots of witches' hats.
Yes, there were lots of witches' hats.
And its policy is when it sees lots of witches' hats,
right,
its default witches' hat speed limit is 40.
Right. Okay.
So somewhere
you just got to preempt that then.
Yeah, so somewhere in its programming, it's decided, or they told it that if there are lots of witches' hats in Australia, I presume, that the default speed limit is 40.
Right. Okay.
I've had a situation driving along the freeway when there was a whole lot of traffic cones just on the side, and I was driving perfectly fine. And after a while, it kind of goes, "I don't like this," and it comes up with a message saying, "Change lanes to move away from cones."
Really?
Up on the screen. Yeah. It's almost like it's getting nervous. Going,
well, cones are scary.
You can ignore it.
Might
It keeps
jump
going.
out.
That's great, guys. Thanks. Like I said, I spent the whole weekend just absolutely frustrated with it. I just couldn't understand the logic of it all and what it was doing and why, but it now makes sense. So thanks for that.
Barry, one more thing to add to that, especially when it comes to roadworks, you'll notice mainly around roadworks, you'll have some of those temporary speed limit signs, the electronic ones that are.
Oh yeah, it doesn't see those. Yeah.
So it doesn't see those, doesn't recognize those. But there was Elon tweeted this week that in the new FSD update version 9, it's going to be able to recognize those as well.
Oh, okay.
So that should come with a over-the-air update, hopefully, when we get the button.
Oh, cool. Okay.
He actually mentioned that those variable signs can be difficult to actually recognize.
Yeah.
Because our eyes have the luxury of persistence of vision. Most of those variable signs flash the LEDs, as do our cars with their brake lights and tail lights, and even the daytime running lights. They flash at a high rate to modulate their brightness. So those variable signs do the same thing. And the cameras, because Elon actually mentioned frame rates and I think brightness or gain. So they're adjusting the software of the full self-driving computer to optimize the visibility of those variable speed signs, because they've got to cope with the fact that they're blinking at a high rate, and that can sometimes make it look weird, and it can be hard for the computer to recognize what the speed is.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. That next question, sorry. I went and picked up some boxes today, flat pack boxes. I put them in the back and they were just too long, it wouldn't shut. So I thought, I can fold the seats down. My last car, we just pulled the lever in the back and the seats folded down. And I saw the little lever on the left, or a little tug strap on the left. So I pulled that and the seats didn't move. Then I worked out how to put the seats down, which by going in the front and clipping the lever on the top of the seat. So my question is, that little strap at the back left-hand side that you can pull, what does it do?
It releases the power. It releases the plugging.
You sound like a Dalek, Jared.
That sounds like the power. I'm in a country town. What do you expect?
Just say exterminate for us.
Exterminate! You will be exterminated!
Brilliant.
I understood the exterminate part, but not what the actual strap does.
It releases your power.
Oh, okay.
There's an emergency release cable just behind the charge port. So if there's an issue with the charging for whatever reason and you can't get the plug out, now do not do. Yeah, stop the charging if you can through the screen, but because it's a live connection and it's a physical disconnect.
Right. Okay.
So it's an emergency only.
Yeah, I saw it there and thought, oh, that's to release the seats. And of course, I was pulling it and nothing was happening. It's like, well, what does it do then? Okay, that's
Actually,
great. Thank you.
Another tip, if you're putting your seats down, you'll notice because they both have cushions on the backrest as well as on the bottom of the seat, it sort of goes up a little bit. But if you actually put it down completely flat, but you just got to take out the cushion on the bottom of the seat. So they actually do come out, and you can take them out and make it completely flat if you wanted to.
Oh, excellent. Okay. No, all I needed was just get a little bit extra space for the length of the cardboard boxes I was putting in. They were flat packed, so you know it just needed a little bit more. Okay. And one final question. Sorry. The garage remote. I was quite surprised that, given the amount of glass on the car, my garage remote, I now have to open the window and stick my arm out of the door to open the garage door. Whereas on my previous cars, you just sat in the car and pressed the button. So I don't know if he's designed some sort of Faraday cage in the glass, but
Have you been vaccinated, Barry?
Sorry?
Have you been vaccinated? Your 5G network will be better if you're vaccinated.
Sorry, Jared, we can't hear you.
I can't understand you.
Just try and mute yourself and unmute, see if that fixes it.
Yeah. Check 1, 2. Check.
No, you're all messed up. You're all messed up.
Next week.
The thing is, I don't think the windscreen is coated, but the glass roof and I think the side glass has infrared coatings or to block infrared or absorb or reflect infrared light, which is usually a metallic coating. So that can also kill your RF from a remote.
The remote works through my glass.
Mine works fine too.
Probably depends on the frequency.
Yeah, you've only just picked your car. You've only just picked your car up though.
To be either 433.92 megahertz or 868 or 915, depending on the remote, or sometimes there's 304 megahertz. But the lower the frequency, so 433 should be fine. Look, just try.
The only other thing that's different is you've got a new model, made in China, I'm assuming. So they've got the double pane glass. So unless there's something with the double pane glass that's blocking it, but I mean, I've got an older one, a Fremont car, and I stuck my remote up behind the screen, in the front side of the car of the screen, just with a little 3M Velcro, and that worked perfectly fine. So maybe it had a better line of sight straight out the front window. So.
Have you,
Barry, a tip is if it really bothers you, you can actually go and buy a accessory from Tesla where you can teach the car to basically learn the signal from your remote, and then you can have the garage door open. So I've got it on my car. So when I come to my gate, because of the GPS, it knows where the car is, and the gate opens automatically. But I can override it just on the screen as well. So it's called what's it called?
HomeLink.
HomeLink. That's it. Yeah.
The only caveat with that is that it doesn't work with every remote, like garage door opener. So like I've got I can't remember what the brand is, but it didn't work with mine. But you can get third-party modules that you attach, and that's what I've got on mine. And same thing. You drive up, things opens up. When you back out, it automatically closes for you. So.
Mine didn't work. Mine didn't work either. They're only about $60 or $70.
Yeah.
And they're easy enough to install yourself, even if you're not that technically minded.
Yeah.
So
But you have to have the HomeLink module
in the car.
And that's how much is that?
300, I think.
300-400, something like that.
Yeah, mine came with the car.
Yeah.
Oh, it was installed after.
I thought it was about 600.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, have you tried the Jeremy Clarkson trick? And I'm being serious here. You put your remote against the side of your head and try it. Gives you more range. And I'm not kidding.
No.
That wasn't a joke, by the way, because I've tried that with my old remote. You're 50 feet away and it doesn't work. You put it against the side of your head and it does
And it
work.
works.
So,
Yeah.
So what was it looking for, Pete?
Homelink.
Homelink.
No, it's not listed.
No, it's not listed.
Maybe they're
I
not doing
saw
it.
someone talking about it on the forum, and they said
Is
they've
it-
been quoted to do it.
Is it an upgrade on the app?
It's
Yeah, the
300.
upgrade thing.
I found it $325, but I've got a feeling that I'm in the US store. Let me just check. It's not even telling me.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if they were legal because the Americans use different frequency.
No, I the
Homologated.
US store.
It's homologated. So 433.92 is a common frequency.
Right.
Just
Okay, I'll
on-
look into that some more then. Thanks for that.
All right,
On the
see you,
remote-
Jane. Have a wonderful evening.
Sorry.
And
Just
welcome
on-
anytime
sorry.
next week. Actually,
Thank you.
next week, before you go, next week we've got a casual meetup in Morley. So we won't be on Ask Us Anything, but you're welcome to come the session after that, the week after.
So when's the casual meetup? Is that?
Oh, sorry, it's next Wednesday at 6:30. I'll be sending an email out tomorrow.
Okay.
Since it's literally a week away.
Mhm.
And I don't want to confuse, which Wednesday
No.
it is. So I'll send an email out tomorrow. It's at the Russell Inn, which is in Russell Street in Morley. So traditionally, our casual meetup would have been tonight, but because of the COVID restrictions we had last week, and when we had to make a decision to either have it today or not, at that time, the state government had said that you would have to have strictly seating service and not standing. And that really impinges on the flow of a casual meetup because people want to sort of mill around and whatever. So we decided to postpone until next Wednesday. Now, obviously, I think it was yesterday or the day before, it was announced that today you could have had standing around and open sort of slather, but we didn't know that at the time when we made that decision. So every month we have a casual meetup at the first week of the month. On one month it's on a Sunday lunchtime, and then the following month it's on a Wednesday evening. So we do that, and then it just repeats. So Sunday one month, Wednesday the next month. And we do that because obviously different people have different lifestyles, different phases of life, whether you've got kids or whatever. So sometimes a weekend is more convenient to some, or a midweek is better for others.
How many people usually go?
Well, it's increasing. Pete, I think the last one we had, it wasn't that funny, but it worked out really well. But we were slated to go, this was on a Sunday.
That burnt, I saw that.
4 weeks ago, that was to the CY O'Connor pub. And
saw that.
was on a Sunday, and at 6 o'clock on Saturday evening, Rob rang me and said, "Oh, by the way, the CY O'Connor's on fire." And I said, "Well, what do you mean it's on fire? Like, it's not allowed to be on fire." And he goes, no, it's really burning big time. So in half an hour, we had to decide on a new venue, which happened to be the Last Drop at Belia. And that was an awesome meetup. And that one, I think we had 33 or 34 Teslas turn up, which was fantastic.
I felt bad about that one because I suggested the CY O'Connor because that's our local. and then we had to drive past it, and the poor thing's burnt down to ash.
Yes. And we've had little pet theories of, they militantly thought, that's it, we're going to burn the place down before a single Tesla parks in our car park. But no.
I've parked there before.
Yes. Well, yeah, exactly. So have I actually. It's a great spot. And hopefully, look, it'll be awesome to have a meetup back at the CY O'Connor once they rebuild, and hopefully that's soon. But anyway, so next week's will be in Morley. And we've actually been all over Perth. I've got this map with pins all over. So we're trying to make it sort of egalitarian for people who live north, south of the river, east of the river, west, whatever. So,
Okay.
So yeah,
Dad, we'll make a Wednesday night. It's unusual I could come tonight, but Sunday might be all right. Okay.
Yes, so Sunday,
Well,
Sunday
thank
will
you.
be in a month's time, roughly.
Mhm.
And actually, that's a place which is I haven't even thought of where to go, but we will pick a spot on depending on what season it is. We had the Mundaring Weir Hotel penciled in some months ago, but we had a COVID lockdown and had to cancel that or postpone it. But yeah, so anyway, sorry to interrupt your leaving the group, but yes, next week we'll have a casual meetup face to face. And the good thing is I believe that we should be restriction free by then. So it should be just the 2 square metre rule and everything's good, if that. So yeah, it'll be good.
Okay, well, thank you. Bye for now.
Good
No
night.
worries, Jane. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
All the best. Thank you.
No worries, Kate.
See you guys.
Cheers. Take care.
Catches, I'm off too.
Hey, Harold, yeah, I might call it a night as well. I'm actually, yeah, we're doing a few things around the house and actually my son's bedroom. So my wife's coming to tell me that it might be time for him to go to sleep soon.
Yeah, cool. No worries, Pete. Excellent.
So I'll save, if I can, because that question will take a while, I'll save my question for next week. If I can, put it on, take a rain check.
Yeah, no. So cool. Sorry, yeah, I just had to slot them in. Like it's,
No, absolutely. Yeah, maybe once we've done the news and introduced everyone and a few of the early questions, yeah, it'd be good if Rob and Ken are there too. Yeah, because they drop off.
Yeah, and we've actually got one thing I did see when I was preparing the news and I was doing my homework very late because I've just been super busy, was there's an interesting white paper that Tesla Energy Australia has written with regard to the storage batteries and, you know, that case where that coal-fired power station blew up or stopped working or whatever. And there's an awesome white paper, which I haven't had time to read, but that could be quite interesting for next week. So yeah, so we'll do that after your question.
Excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, go to bed, Pete. Well, you don't go to bed. Lee, you could go to bed.
No, I'll be going to bed too. Trust me.
Cool. No worries. All right.
All right.
Take care. Cheers.
See you guys. Thanks.
So, any other questions or anything burning? Steve, Barry, Jared, we can't hear you properly because you sound like a Dalek because your audio.
Check 1, 2. Hello.
Oh, no, you're perfect. Perfect.
What's the upgrade that's coming out soon?
The what? Sorry.
What is the update that's coming out?
Version 9. Version 9.
Version 9. Is that the
It's the
self-driving?
UI. It's the UI.
UI, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So your screen, you know, the
version on the screen. Yeah.
The Plaid S.
Yeah.
Updated the screen, and they've got. I think Pete mentioned it a little while ago. It's more customizable, so you can move icons around. There's like a section. In fact, I'll just show you on the.
When's it coming out? How far away?
2 weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. So you know how you've got these logos at the bottom, right? So if we just close, oops.
You've got a customizable icon bar. How's that?
Yes, so you can effectively have your used icons, and you can bit like, you know, iPhones and stuff where you've got those quick menu things.
Yep.
So I don't want to have the seat heater for the passenger, you know, wasting that real estate because I never use it. So you can put some other icons down there, and you can segment parts of the screen to your preference.
Okay. Yep.
So that's apparently coming out for for Model 3s and, well, in America, Model Ys. Yeah. It's the same screen, basically.
Hey, when are we going to get Model Ys?
Sorry?
When are we going to get right-hand drive Model Y?
Oh, you went on earlier at the start. Well, the thing is, in Hong Kong, they're available now, but their delivery is September, which is the end of the third quarter. So it sort of makes sense that Tesla would deliver, well, they would make Australian Ys at the start of the next quarter, which is October. So they presumably wouldn't arrive until November. So if we presume they're going to arrive in November, the order book for them can open any time between now and
November.
September,
Yeah.
I guess. So,
Okay, no, I wasn't there.
so literally Ken and I have races in counting, or we have competition in counting how many times we've done this, which is open Tesla's website and then click on Model Y, only to see stay updated.
It's like when my car was about to arrive, and then suddenly the white. I was looking every day. I wanted a white interior, but I was going to have black because I'd waited 1,300 days, and then suddenly there was a white, and I changed my order.
And a good move too. And even though it might have technically delayed your delivery, possibly,
it did
it's worth it.
Because the guy at the road got one, a blue one, just like mine, about a week before mine. I was so pissed, I'll tell you.
Well, I do remember there was a guy that got his car because all the early Model 3s had an issue with all their 12-volt batteries were wrecked on the first deliveries. And the reason was they weren't properly put into transport mode, which meant that they weren't in power saving mode. Normally the car will cut out at 20% and that will be okay, but it didn't. And it kept on running down until basically it kept on using power until it hit the 20% battery mark, at which point the 12-volt lead acid battery stops being trickle charged, it goes profoundly flat, and then you've got to replace it because it just kills the battery. So most of those Model 3s, they had a big delay and they had to air freight hundreds of batteries into Australia at huge cost. But there was one gentleman who actually got his car, I forget whether it was September or August, almost before everyone else, until they then realized there was an issue. And what they did in his car was they replaced his battery a couple of weeks after he'd taken delivery of it. But all the other cars got sort of delayed until later. But yeah, these things happen.
So the venue meet up next week, next Wednesday. What was the venue called?
It's the Russell, Russell Inn.
Russell Inn. Will they be upgrading their insurance?
Yes. When $10 million worth of vehicle park in their car park.
They'll be upgrading their fire policy.
Well, they'll probably actually upgrade their menu prices and say, well, all you Capo Tesla owners can pay more for that steak sandwich and pint of whatever.
Yeah.
But
I've got a question. How quickly does it take to cook a steak sandwich on a burning Model S?
Did you hear that? I saw a shout out to Rob Mauer at Tesla Daily. An interesting snippet is that the gentleman whose Plaid Model S burnt up is actually a hedge fund, and they deal with digital currencies, and it's a very interesting coincidence. Put it that way.
Love it.
Well, if the burger is cooked on a burning Model S, you won't really care about it afterwards because all the lithium will just make you happy. You'll be as relaxed as ever.
Oh, I love
Absolutely, you'll be chilled out. That's right. Exactly. So yeah, that's probably an interesting case of watch this space. Because the truth is out there, and I guess it just needs to be revealed, doesn't it?
You can never put the genie back in the bottle, don't you? With all this FUD, like the protester in China and all, you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
No, some of it still always sticks regardless. The protest in China, it was mistaken. What they thought happened didn't happen, and then they got very upset about it. But And unfortunately, people sort of took it on face value and thought it was sincere. Well, it probably was sincere, but well, who knows? But yeah, it was unfortunate in any case. But you know, just like those two surgeons that tragically died in the States on that 400-meter S-shaped cul-de-sac. And when there were reports that this car was driving by itself, and that was literally impossible, you know. I think even that on that Plaid Model S, it was claimed that the car was moving forward by itself while on fire. You know, who knows? In fact, you know, the example of those surgeons that died, there were eyewitnesses that claimed, well, they said the emergency attendees stated that there was no driver in the driver's seat. So therefore it was presumed that the car was driving itself, but that actually wasn't the case, because when they looked at the CCTV footage taken from one of the houses, 2 people got into the 2 front seats. But at the end of the crash, they concluded that there was no one in the driver's seat. So, you know, who knows? So Jared, as well, it's what is it? It's 11:15, so you can feel free to rant on about any subject you like.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got nothing.
Hey, Jared, you need to watch the YouTube of this recorded. You were so good as a Dalek, mate. It was awesome.
Oh, I'm in a country
and when you
town.
said exterminate, it was awesome. No, next week. Watch it some other time.
That's why we all cracked up. I'm going to try and get that snippet out. I think it was at about 20 past 10. So that's is that 2 hours and 50 minutes into the video?
Yeah,
when you said exterminate, but
it was classic.
Priceless.
I'm in a country town called Horrocks, just short of Kalbarri.
You know, there's a charger. There's a destination charger at Horrocks.
Is it what? Sorry.
There is a destination charger.
No, we took the ice car. Took the cruiser because we had to tow the camper trailer. So that's my backdrop here, the camper trailer room. So you know, give you an idea. It's like.
Oh, is that what it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you
look luxury.
That's the camper trailer. So
I thought that background was a little bit like.
No, it's the annex with the camper trailer.
I thought it was a bit like I've got like just a green sheet.
Yeah, you got the green screen up.
But yeah, right, cool. Yeah, Horrocks. If you
Horrocks,
go to PlugShare, there's actually and feel free to have a look. There's actually a destination charger.
Further up.
There.
There you go.
Actually, I think it might be 3-phase. Yeah,
Northampton. I think Northampton's got something as well. Yeah, right, there you go. Horrocks Community Centre.
There's a good looking Model X plugged into it.
No, that's you, is it?
Yeah, it sure is.
Is that a Tesla charger?
No, it's just a 3-phase outlet.
Oh, it's just a 3-phase outlet.
Yeah.
So while you're onto this, when I go to PlugShare, I don't see that plug on mine.
Right.
So when I go to my filter, tell me what I should.
Okay, right. So if we close this and we go to filters, so we go to plugs.
Now
so
I'm on my phone.
I've
Is
got
there any different on your phone?
Yeah, I can do it on the phone. Phone's the same.
But those filters on PlugShare are a pain in the ass. Like it's sometimes it's like if you click like the is there a fee for charging? Is there there's a couple of other filters and that yeah, it seems like it should be one way. It's counterintuitive. It's actually the other, and yeah, then half the charges disappear or appear.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
The main thing is you need to have 3-phase. This is providing you've got a 3-phase.
Well, it doesn't show on my filter.
Oh.
I haven't got 3-phase on my filters.
What have you got? An iPhone or have you got a?
Yep, there it is.
Have you got the latest version? You updated
Yeah.
the version on it?
Yeah, I did. I just.
So
yeah,
is there a reset or show incompatible plugs?
So you can see there's 3-phase just there, Richard.
Yeah, I haven't. I've got Supercharger, Chenamo, J1770, Tesla Type 2, and Wall.
Oh, no, Richard, change it to incompatible plugs.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Right.
Because it knows you have a Model 3 and it knows that you can't use 3-phase, so you've got to show incompatible plugs.
That's what I've been. That's done.
That's something we should probably mention early in the show. Well, not next week, the week after. The next Ask Us Anything, because you're dead on it. You've got to show incompatible plugs.
Right, that's the question I've been wanting to ask. Great, thank you. Done.
Cool.
Horrocks.
Too easy.
Horrocks.
Sorry,
I
still
think
doesn't have one.
Northampton's got a Tesla charger. I saw
No, that Horrocks still hasn't come up, even though I've changed the filter.
Oh, you might need to
3-phase,
reset.
Richard? I'll do you in a sec, Jared. Have you got 3-phase?
Yeah, I have.
Just hit refresh or just close the app and reopen it or something.
Okay.
Because it might not update the map straight away. Because it should show Horrocks and...
still not showing Horrocks, and I'll just make sure I've got 3-phase. Yeah, 3-phase is ticked. Weird.
Try checking the payment options. Payment options.
Payment options.
I'll get it out.
Where are payment options?
I'm not sure if it's actually called that. Hang on, I'll open it myself.
Thanks.
So I've got requires fee ticked.
Oh, okay, right. So does that mean it does require a fee or doesn't require a fee?
I think it does.
Okay, I've ticked that and still no.
And I've,
Maybe reload
I've got-
that app on.
Oh, have you got? What about the minimum plug score? I've got it set to 0.
Minimum, yeah, 0. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What version are you running, Richard?
I've got no idea. How do I find out?
I've got my phone with me, but isn't there like a about?
Version 6.600.
Have you got public locations and in-use locations ticked?
Hang on, I'll just go back to. Oh God. Sorry, go to my filter. Go to what? Public locations
and in-use locations.
No, I've just okay. What does that mean?
So if something's in use, it won't be shown unless you've got that ticked.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've ticked that.
So
and
someone's
still no horror.
networks, all the networks ticked, I assume.
All the networks.
Right at the bottom of the filters.
Oh no, I haven't got. Do you want me to tick them all? Shall I? Everything.
Yep, tick them all.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've done that. Hey, Horrocks has come.
Oh, here we go.
So what does that mean? So yeah, I had them. A lot of them unticked because I did. What's Jolt or EV up or EV?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, just best to have them all. I guess if one of the plugs is under a certain network that someone's decided to set up on there, then yeah, it might not show on anything. So I just leave them all on.
So I've got Supercharger, CCS, Tesla Type 2, and 3-phase.
That's it.
Cool.
So Jared, you mentioned Northampton.
I just noticed they got a Tesla charger there.
Yes, it does. It's actually got Type 2, 3-phase, and Tesla.
And I think it's free too. I don't think it's a charge.
Yes, it is. Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Council thing.
Yep.
I did charge the other day at the Crown Hotel, Crown Plaza Hotel in the city.
Oh yes. Yep.
Pulled up in the car park and charged there for a bit.
Yes, that's. Whoops.
And I finally got my Charge Fox card and went to the RAC in the city and had to go on that. Only put in 2 kilowatts, and then it didn't charge me. They just said no, there's no charge for this.
Oh,
whereabouts?
That's
Sorry.
interesting. The RAC in the city.
Oh, right.
I
Interesting.
used their charging station just for a test run with my Charge Fox card, which I had to learn that you have to put the number of the device that you're using, and I had to watch a little tutorial before I did it, and which was, yeah, that's it. That's exactly where we were. So we only did it just for a little bit of test run to see how it would go. And we're only there for a couple of, 10 minutes or so charging, and then we stopped, and then it came up with there's no charge. It was, free.
Yeah, right.
And that quite interesting. I was expecting at least $2 or something, But it was like,
I jumped down there. I had 30% on my battery, and I had to do a 200-kilometre trip. So I jumped in there just to see if it would work. And bang, $6 for 250k or something. It's real quick. And I think I swiped my card and it didn't have to change anything.
I just used the Charge Fox on the phone. But I finally received the hard card.
Oh, you did this before the card?
Yeah, on the phone, just did the phone app.
Once you get the card, you just swipe your card and it's seamless. It's great.
Yeah, I was very impressed by it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't see, what does it put it in at, Harold? Do you know the rate that it puts that in at?
So say again?
RAC, what's the rate that it's putting in at? It only goes in
How
at 11
fast does it
kilowatts.
charge?
It's not like a supercharger, it's only 11
Oh,
kilowatts,
sorry.
isn't it?
Oh, yeah, on
quick.
your car, it could, the maximum, you've got a performance, haven't you, Jared?
Yeah.
So I think the maximum it can do is about 200 kilowatts, which is 1200 k's an hour tops.
But that RAC charger is not a supercharger, is it?
It's quicker than a supercharger.
Technically, it can go similar to the Williams supercharger. It can go faster than the Eaton supercharger, which is limited to about 140 kilowatts. But I think it's actually power limited because, if we just bring up the actual image of it, this actual tritium charger, its nameplate charging rate is 350 kilowatts, but on CCS it can do 500 amps max, and 500 amps times 400 volts, which is roughly what your battery pack is 200 kilowatts. But at the RAC site, they've had to limit the power to, I think, not much more than 100 kilowatts because they don't have enough power going into the building. So you could say that they're slightly overcapitalized on charging infrastructure because it's not even touching its nameplate or anywhere near its nameplate ability. So it's probably a little bit slower than the supercharger at Eaton. So I think that'll do you at about 700 k's an hour, roughly, when you're charging there at the
I'm looking
RAC.
forward to driving there to charge up.
Sorry?
I'm looking forward to actually charging up there one day.
Well, what would be great is to charge up at Williams. That's going to be, if you turn up to Williams at, say, 10% battery, so to charge, you're going to touch like a 1,500 kilometers per hour charging rate. It's just awesome. It's just awesome.
And when we can get that in the city, that'll even be better.
Yes, you will. Oh, yes. So as we know, Tesla have got 2 supercharger locations announced for Perth. One they call Perth North, and the other one Perth. Perth North will be this quarter, so it'll be in the next 3 months.
But we don't know where it is.
Sorry?
You don't know where it is?
No. No, the pin, if you look at the pin, it sort of shows it near Caranup Shops.
That sounds like a possible location.
It's it shows it. So you go menu, charging, and then you click on the road here. And they describe it as Perth North. And if you zoom in, it's sort of on the freeway at Karrinyup Road.
Yeah, right.
Now, conspiracy theorists will say, well, it's near the Gwelup shops, which is where there's a 50 kilowatt tritium charger. One thing that's interesting is it's near the Karrinyup shopping centre, which has had a huge revamp.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it actually. But I went through the big multi-story car park, which is massive and very impressive. But there's no sign of any conduits coming out of the concrete slab or anything like that. But there are some works at the other end of it, which is still ongoing. So that's possible. As we know, Pete has suggested that a logical place would be up in Joondalup, which is plausible. A couple of years ago, I had a hot tip that it was going to go to Alkimos, which is definitely north of Perth. But, you know, that went cold. So we just don't know. Now, as you can see there, it's Q3 2021. And then the one in what they call just Perth is Q1 2022. Now, there is no doubt that those two supercharger locations will be the version 3, as is Williams, which we've already seen that, you know, we've already got photos of that location, and we already know it's a version 3. In fact, I think worldwide, Tesla have not installed any version 2 or the traditional superchargers for a couple of months now. So they are basically only installing version 3, which for Model 3 owners, especially the long range owners, will just be incredibly high charging when you turn up with about 10% state of charge. It's just, you know.
I don't get too excited though. I saw a video by Tom Malogny on, he charged his long range from 0 to 100% on version 2 and version 3 and charged every 10 minutes. And that's the difference in the charging rate.
Yes. So,
but at the beginning, but as you say, at the beginning, there's a big difference. Hang on, I'll just find it.
What's the process when you get to the supercharger? You plug it in.
You just plug it in, mate.
Yes.
That's the
yes.
difference.
Now, and see that if you look at the left-hand portion, the first part where you got the higher graph is the version 3.
Yeah, right.
It's when you get between about 5 or 10% to that's about 30-40%.
No, it's not even that. It's
not even that.
No, it's 21%.
Yeah. So
it drops off real quick.
The thing is,
but you can't. You don't. There's no problem sharing them. That's an advantage.
No. So if you want to talk about the bleeding edge of using the least amount of time at a supercharger, the best state of charge to turn up to a supercharger is about 10%, and the best state of charge to leave the supercharger is at about 40%. For the absolute minimum time, like we're talking a dozen minutes, will take you from 10 to 40%.
And if there's a supercharger every 60 miles, you could do that.
Yeah,
that's
if right. In America, if we're in America, you could do that.
In America, you can do that. So you know, for instance, Bjorn Nyland, who's got the YouTube channel Tesla Bjorn, he also optimizes. He does the 1,000 kilometer challenge, and in the Model 3, he's done the 1,000 kilometers, including charging, in 9.5 hours.
Sure, bloody hell.
I did a 907 kilometer challenge in my Model X in Western Australia, going to Carnarvon, and that only took about 16 hours because I spent 7 hours and 5 minutes by the side of the road charging my car on AC. So, you know, that's the difference. And then on the other side of Australia, I went from Canberra to Melbourne to Keith, which is
you see how many
1,200
charging
kilometres,
points are.
and I spent less than 2.5 hours on supercharging.
That's what it should be like.
That's what it should be like, and that's what it is when there is supercharging. So, so the difference is huge. But well, actually, there's a great topic I should have discussed earlier. We actually saw a gentleman with a Model 3, a new owner, who was at the Tritium fast DC charger with his car at 99%, and he was waiting for it to tick over to 100. Now, of course, that's just glacially slow because it's just popping right up. And it's just not optimum at all. You know, he could have done that almost with a camp outlet, and it would have been the same speed.
I need to explain that.
But people don't realise this. So when you get to Williams, look, it doesn't matter. You can turn up with 50% or 60%, and it's still awesome. You're still doing many hundreds of kilometres per hour charging. But if you turn up at 10%, you'll be popping 1,000 miles an hour.
Hey, Jared, it's a great experience, mate. I've been down to Eton a few times, and I leave home 90%, 80%. You get down there, and by the time literally you go into the little shopping centre, have a coffee with your wife, you come out, it's done.
Wow, that's nuts.
It's awesome.
So what's the process again? Just plug it in.
Sorry, plug straight in.
Plug it in.
Job done.
And there's nothing else. There's no. Because it shows on my phone that I've got 1,500 credits.
Yes.
And that's so it automatically knows and just takes it off. So nothing else.
It'll show on the screen like a value, like a price value as it's going. But then, like after you disconnect, and probably 5 minutes later, you look at your K's left on the app, and it'll drop down by the equivalent distance on the app.
That's the difference between you and Guy. You guys have got friends.
Yeah.
I haven't got any referral code. I've had a friend buy a car, but he forgot to do it.
I got a couple of free ones. I think Harry left my referral code active when a mate went and ordered one, and then 2 random people used my code.
Oh, you lucky bastard!
Yeah.
You've got to be lucky sometimes.
I got 7,500 Ks to use. No, 7,000 now.
You got to do it in the 12 months, though. Did you know that?
Yeah, there's a bit of a glitch. I've got a bit longer than that, and I'm not telling anyone.
Oh, excellent. Even better.
That's all right. No one watches this.
No.
Particularly not Elon. Speaking of which, it's probably a good time to have a shout out to, let me see, Damon with the burnt orange Model X. Ashley, thanks for watching. Actually, Joseph, Hosni Mubarak, and many, many others. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.
What about the new guy, Nikola Tesla?
Nikola Tesla, thanks.
We should get together with Hosni, I reckon.
Actually, Hosni, look, big shout out to you, Hosni. You asked lots of good questions, and I'm trying to get round to answering them. But thanks for doing so. That I'm sure that helps our channel gain a bit more notoriety. But yes, and to Nikola, like, amazing. He just has not aged in 100 years. It's awesome.
He's looking so good.
He's lasted almost as long as electric cars tend to last. It's just amazing.
And it's amazing how his accent's changed depending on where he's living at the time.
Oh, it's that localization of accent. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think what you should do, Harold, is there should be a special section made, called Tesla Cooper on Wednesday nights, and he has to present a new mod every Wednesday night. Because a lot of people want to know about new mods.
Only one?
Just one.
Only
just
one?
One every Wednesday night. It would be a good thing.
I could present not a new one. I could present all my old ones, like my door seals.
Start from the back catalogue. Start from the back catalogue and work your way forward.
Oh, it would take months, mate. Take months.
Because everyone's definitely in some of those mods.
And if you reinstall each of the things you've installed, it'll take you like half the time because you won't have to do it twice like you have with most of the mods.
I'm not putting my bloody tow bar on and off again, I can tell you.
I'll tell you what, if we can get 50 people to watch live, you will be doing that for the
And that's
I had
and,
to-
to- and
I had
Tobar's
to
a
take
big thing.
Jurgen's back bumper off. That was all right.
Well, I'm
There's
sure
like-
actually there probably will be people that will buy a tow bar and then want you to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll buy it.
Oh, I
You can
love
use
helping.
my car as the demonstration vehicle if you
I
want.
love helping out. Oh,
I'm
we
happy.
could do that. We could do that one Saturday afternoon and have more people come around and watch how to do it. Yeah,
I think there should be a special segment in the middle of the Wednesday night chat for this is the update for the week that we should do.
Well, there is there's a Mini Cooper S, right? So there could be a Tesla Cooper 3. So
Oh, there you go. I've just ordered some personalised plates. I finally weekend and ordered them, so I'll show you when they arrive.
I bet you it's something like Fix It Cooper.
No, not even close. So,
oh dear.
Yes. All right, I'm going to head off. I'm going to head
I was
off.
going to say, I think on that note,
Yeah.
it might be a good time to wrap up. So thanks everyone for participating. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. For all of us other humans, please have a wonderful week. And we'll see many of you next week at our casual meetup. And then the week after.
Won't see me. I'm up on site, but have a good time.
Have a good shift, have a good swing. And everyone look after yourselves and have a wonderful evening.
and keep dry, keep dry, Jared.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep dry, definitely. And big shout out to the venue we're going to. Make sure the insurance all updated.
And not too much exterminating, mate.
All
Are you going to be there, Richard? Richard,
Hey, Harold, you'll have to grab that clip, the exterminate clip, and do it. Get it ready for next week. That'll be, or next time. Be awesome.
I'm onto it. It's all good. All
We're
right.
going to see you, Richard, next Wednesday.
I don't know. I don't know what I've got on.
Lock
That's
it
why
in.
sometimes I'm like, I just never know what's going on. So,
All right. Cool.
Cheers,
All right.
guys.
We're all going. All right. Take care.
See you guys.
See ya.